Electric. but you're always back for more. Said I hate when things move slow. You're oh so far, yet so close. Oh so far, but so close. Oh so far, but so close. Oh so far, but so close. Oh so far. Oh love you, oh no. Oh no, me no, no, right. Oh la di da right. Oh la di da right. This is hello paradise. I can't decide. Show me the light, show me a sign. Said I hate to see you go, but you're always back for more. Said I hate when things move slow. You're oh so far, yet so close. Oh so far, but so close. Oh so far, but so close. Oh so far, but so close. Oh so far. Oh Lord, oh no. Oh Lord, oh no. I'm so far, but so close. I'm so far, but so close. I'm so far, but so close. You got me off the ground, and I was earthbound. But my mirror was invisible, 'cause I was waiting for a miracle. Hey, you got me off the ground, and I was earthbound. Hey, 'cause I was waiting for a miracle.
有一个超级大绕背。
哦，难道有抽巴龙环节吗
116想要寻求奇迹，在上半部有一个球果，但接下来开始劝退。一技能螺旋刺花再绑，先逼出一个剑魔降世，但接下来反而是变成 Slay 处，成为他回血的目标。Chris Carter 已经暴走，再抓到一个落单的风。他现在是跟风一样的离去，剩下一个116还在蹲，往前再做瞬间，直接要拿下 Triple。这个速度超慢，1张的金牌，后面还有海浪，但往前 DC 却杀更高，想要喷个熊超软。灭命也在绕背，但 Taco 已经往前冲了，爆炸球桶瞬间把 Baby 给炸死，杰西换掉一颗人头，然后再锤了进去拿下了 Double， 而且锤掉对方的妈宝龙，但赵信还是继续往前冲，
要来了，
这里伤害超高，这时候卡玛准备登场 ，GC 的3名成员准备要往后撤退，但恐怖的是卡玛后面还有正在后雷，代表的是 GC 准备要高歌猛进，1张的金牌直接打到 DC 远方的狙击，
不给赵信啊，
这里是有换到赵信，那看 DCG 他们还有没有作战能力，这是中途的联动，
有 Q 吗？
又是1张的金牌，这里熊战力很高，但后面 Chris 看到战斗力爆表，
我这个卡玛应该是美1啊，感觉要沟通一下，没有，他有1，他直接丢在自己身上。
我给我自己，但我能 carry。
对，没事，后面是
欧卡拉的好，
这个拉的好啊！
哎呦
，2个被动开炸，
那是什么？一炮双响。但也只有声音比较烦人而已。好。直接甩一个9筒 ，all in 9筒，全招都下9筒，9筒还有半血，你这边炸回来了。
鳄鱼，
恩硕直接被抓到，那这边的 Steel 开始变身 ，Ariel 绕到了后排，全面杀光，闪现过去，9尾妖狐已经登场。
但不用知道啊，他自己可能也不太知道，这个我们就看后续嘛。后续你看这个阿里，哇，这个去把那个猪的这个轨道再拉回来。
5千喽，
另外一边
，TFN 怎么办？要 all in 了吗？
先进场的会是 Taco， 直接要抓后排交闪现之后，赫本利用大绝解了场。正面扛在最前面的19有一套扛不住，用恐惧先行限制了665，一瞬间 TFN 人被赶走，远古巨龙 ，TFN 有机会，这是 DD 准备拿到后面闪现一做，3个来自了水晶的开花进场，拿下了一个 double， 后面输 DDG 一切拉满，一瞬间泰的也拿了2颗人头，远古巨龙直接在手。
有喽，直接秒甩大绝，甩的是纳米在这里盖了墙过来之后，在空中直接被击飞切了下来，阿软被留住，被变成冰块，闪现过来了，所以这里波比把人给锤走，锤的是一头猪，在这里开了坚定不移之后，又是人被拿了一个大波球，正中央 FAK 又抓了一波机会。这是什么？你点的塔利亚外卖？主要这把中野联动蛮多的，所以阿软其实比较难发挥哦，但这波也是甩纳米，但是正面打不赢，然后空中被清下来嘛，哇哦，直接裂开。还是美丽的误会，太帅了！表示我也不知道呀。吉年这个感觉不是很纯情哦，谁都要了。哦哟。但阿哲伤害超高，又是给到一发鱼叉。现在 CFO 想要拉神发的是在图牌，阿哲又没有倒地，是热射上到，而且还是关于这一波，先把对方退回来，是热射大爆。
Is this love? 2 a.m. and you're knocking on my door. I won't answer, you're screaming out some more. This isn't love, it's a need to be in control. You always play the victim, whatever. Careful where you walk, 'cause my heart's like a bank. Consider me karma, now you have to pay. Give me space. I need that breather, time. Give me space. I need that breather, time. Wherever you roam, there's no place to go. Nowhere feels like home. From a deadly kiss to this apocalypse, you feel so alone. Want to run to battlefields with loaded guns, fighting for a life to call my own. Suddenly you're terrified, looking for somewhere to hide. What's behind you? The wolf is at your door. He will find you. Can you hear him roar? Maybe I'm a monster. Telling me what's the goal? Do you have no soul? Why are you so cold? If I'm too proud to speak, will that make me weak? How will this unfold? Suddenly you're terrified, looking for somewhere to hide. The wolf is at your door. Can you hear him roar? Maybe I'm the monster. Can you hear him roar? Maybe I'm the monster. This life, one forever in me, and you'll never be caught in a wreck. You and I could be a greatest enemy.
哇，有一个超级大绕背
哦，难道有抽巴龙环节吗
？116想要寻求奇迹，在上半部有一个球果，但接下来开始劝退，一技能螺旋刺花再绑，先逼出一个剑魔降世，但接下来反而是变成 Slay Two 成为Taco他回血的目标。Chris Carter 已经暴走，再抓到一个落单的风。他现在是跟风一样的离去，剩下一个116还在蹲，往前再做，瞬间直接要拿下 Triple。这个速度超慢，一张的金牌，后面还有海浪，但往前第一个杀更高，想要喷个熊超软。灭命也在绕背，但 Taco 已经往前冲了，爆弹传统瞬间把 Baby 给炸死，杰西换掉一颗人头，然后再锤了进去拿下了 Double， 而且锤掉对方的妈宝龙，但赵信还是继续往前冲，
要来了，
这里伤害超高，这时候卡玛准备登场 ，GC 的3名成员准备要往后撤退，在恐怖的击杀了，后面还有征战后雷，代表是 GC 准备要高歌猛进，一张的金牌直接打到 T 的远方的狙击，
不给赵信啊，
这里是有换到赵信，那看 DCG 他们还有没有作战能力，这是中途的联动，
有 Q 吗？
又是一张的金牌，这里熊战力很高，但后面 Chris 看到战斗力爆表，
我这个卡玛应该是美1啊，感觉要沟通一下，没有，他有1，他直接丢在自己身上。
我给我自己，但我能 carry。
对，没事，后面是
欧卡拉的好，
这个拉的好啊！
哎呦
，2个被动开炸，
那是什么？一炮双响，但也只有声音比较烦人而已。啊？好。直接甩一个9筒，all in 9筒，全招都下9筒，9筒还有半血，你这边炸回来了。
鳄鱼，
恩硕直接被抓到，那这边的 Steel 开始变身，秒到了后排，全面杀光，闪现过去，9尾妖狐已经登场。
不用知道啊，他自己可能也不太知道，这个我们就看后续嘛。后续你看这个阿里，哇，这个是把那个 Q 的这个轨道再拉回来。
你先喽。
另外一边
，PFN 怎么办？要欧印的吗？
先进场的会是 Taco， 直接要抓后排交闪现之后，赫本利用大绝解了场。正面扛在最前面的19尾发，扛不住利用恐惧先行限制665，一瞬间 PFN 人被赶走远古巨龙 ，PFN 有机会，这是 DD 准备拿到后面闪现一做，来自了水晶的开花进场，拿下了一个 double， 后面输 DCG 一切拉满，一瞬间泰的也拿了2颗人头，远古巨龙直接在手。
有喽，直接秒了！水大绝甩的是纳米在这里盖了墙过来之后，在空中直接被击飞给牵了下来，阿软被留住，被变成冰块，闪现过来了，所以这里波比把人给锤走，锤的是一头猪，在这里开了坚定不移之后，又是人被拿了一个 double kill， 正中央 F 又抓了一波机会。
是什么？你点的塔利亚外卖？
主要这把中野联动蛮多的，所以阿软其实比较难发挥哦。但这波也是甩是甩纳米，但是正面打不赢，然后空中被清下来嘛，哇哦，
直接裂开。还是美丽的误会，太帅了！表示我也不知道呀。
吉米的这个感觉不是很纯情哦，谁都要哎。哦哟。但阿志伤害超高，又是给到了一发鱼叉。现在 CFO 想要拉神发的机会图，把阿志更加倒地，帅热射下到，而且还是够这一波，就把对方推回来，对热射大爆。This is hello paradise. I can't decide. Show me the light, show me a sign. Said I hate to see you go, but you're always back for more. Said I hate when things move slow. You're oh so far yet so close.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our third night of the week here of the PCS. I hope you enjoyed the day off yesterday, and of course, tonight's games will once again be brought to you by Carry International, Riot Games, and the Grand Halai Taipei. Without, we would not be able to have such a successful PCS finals, and not really be able to see such fantastic gameplay, and especially out of some of the Japanese teams. Very, very thankful for them, so a big thank you once again. I will be your host, Vestian, and alongside me, it is Lo.
Yeah, everyone's had their rest in the Grand Halai. We're not actually sure if the PCS teams get to stay in the Grand Halai, but hopefully that would suck for them if they didn't.
Yeah.
Definitely the LJL teams and the LCO teams enjoying it. And just a PCS affair today.
That's right.
CFO versus Frank, and it's kind of been hard for me to decide how I feel about this matchup because they only played once in the regular season, and when they played, Eminem was absent.
They played twice. They played twice? Yeah. They played early on in the split. CFO won, but yeah, the second time they played, it was Eminem not playing, and Pretender was in the AD carry role, which they looked considerably weaker in that iteration of their roster, so hard to really judge how they looked at that time. And now, honestly, through the playoffs, it's the first time we're going to be seeing CFO, so maybe a little bit of rust coming through, perhaps.
Yeah,
I don't assume so, but I mean, we saw game number 1 from PSG where they hadn't played a lot. We saw sort of maybe some kinks in the armor there, and if CFO have the same, Frank certainly are good enough to be able to capitalize and take the series, at least a game, but even possibly the series off CFO.
Yeah, and I don't think these teams are far enough apart that you can just give away a game and expect to come back and win 3 in a row like PSG did against Beyond. Frank are definitely on form from what we've seen from them so far in the playoffs, and you know, you can't really afford to give them a game, so you got to come hot out of the gate if you're CFO.
Yeah, and obviously there is on your screen, as we were talking about, CFO versus Frank. It's exciting to once again see CFO. The last time we did see them play, they were against PSG, and they did actually lose that series 2-1. And it was the first series they lost until their very first game in the PCS, where they did lose to Beyond. But honestly, CFO have been looking extremely strong. Yes, they lost to PSG, but we kind of, despite PSG's form at the latter half of the season, we actually thought that PSG probably should be contending first place with CFO. So it's not too surprising to see them lose to PSG, but Frank should be easier. But again, if Frank's on form, they just look like a whole different team.
Well, they look like the best team.
Yeah.
When they're playing at their absolute best, when they've got the meta reads, when both mid laners are performing, it's pretty impossible to stop them.
Yeah.
Just champion pool issues for Frank are what have plagued them, really. Once the meta started changing, they just couldn't really adapt like the other teams could, and only a couple champs for each of their, in every lane, essentially. It feels like they don't really ever want Jiang on tanks. They never even tried the Udyr, which, understandable.
Yeah, I think he tried Cassante. He has definitely played Cassante.
Yeah.
Who's kind of a... hard to call him a tank. He's obviously a tank, but that guy also just does insane amounts of damage. So I agree with you there. I'd say in the playoffs, I mean, one of the most important picks I have to assume coming through this series should be Ahri. I mean, Frank are yet to play a different mid laner in the playoffs, and they've played a lot of games at this stage. They went through the first stage, 5 games in the first stage, now 4 games yesterday, or not yesterday, but in their last series. And now they still haven't picked a single mid laner other than Ahri, despite if it's Pretender or Jimmy playing.
Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous. One thing as well is going to be really interesting as we go through the playoffs is Smolder priority, because we've kind of seen him take a few L's back to back lately, and maybe it's not worth giving up all of the early game priority to get the scaling pick, because it doesn't feel like everyone's figured out how to even capitalize on the Smolder.
Yeah.
Feels like the way the drafts and the games have gone is, okay, we got Smolder to 225, let's just fight, we should win now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always go that way.
Yeah, and it feels like so far, I mean, this might sound obvious, but it seems like PSG really are the best team at dealing with and picking the Smolder. So it's really scary, especially against them. We're kind of yet to see Shun on the Smolder. Maybe we will see it this series, or maybe we'll just see CFO come out with something they've got prepared for, either in bans or picking it up.
Yeah, it's possible they're a team that just disrespects the pick.
Yeah.
Just thinks it isn't worth giving up all of that early game agency, and can just run around the map, picking up every single dragon, taking favorable fights. Very strong jungler in Karsa, who will make use of priority. If you give him a bunch of lanes with priority, he's going to torture your jungler in the early game.
Yeah, for sure. Possibly the best at it in the league.
Yeah.
Maybe alongside Junjia in many ways.
We'll see if the haircut buff maintains
continues.
for,
yeah.
Eminem.
Yeah, it certainly was looking buffed up.
Yeah, he was playing Kai'Sa, not a super meta champ, not a super strong champ, but...
Yeah, 2 games of it, was it?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
just popped
double-digit
off.
kills.
For sure. Great showing from him in their series up against DCG, which we came to expect. And then, of course, it was CFO who chose Frank, as we also expected.
Yeah. And Jimian had one game he won on his own, essentially. That first game up against DCG.
Yeah, his Ahri was looking good.
Yeah, he just made it look like a solo queue game he was smurfing in. Ran around doing whatever he wanted, killing everyone. Every time he was hiding in fog or a bush, it just felt like he was always going to connect with a kill onto someone. And he did for the most part, at least in that first game. DCG did come back with a bit of a counter draft with Talia Vi against the Ahri first pick, and that game was a lot harder for him.
Yeah. But it still felt ultimately fairly okay.
Yeah.
And it did just allow so much space for Eminem on the Kai'Sa, so not the end of the day. It is really the hot favorites in CFO. They have looked like, and the results prove it, our strongest team coming out of the regular season. First time we're going to see them now in the playoffs, but you have to have them on your betting slip as one of the top 2 teams at this point, because they are truly an absolute contender for that MSI spot and for the spring playoffs. Frank, on the other hand, they started the season better than any other team.
Yeah, CFO
kind of
dethroned
faded
them
towards the end, of course, not picking up a single win in the second round robin, which led them to actually fall in the standings to PSG and have to play in that first round, which they did smurf through and got pretty easily through.
Do you remember who broke their streak? It might have been CFO.
Yeah, it was.
Because they beat PSG.
Yeah, it was
earlier in the split.
CFO.
Yeah, so it was CFO who dethroned them and then took that #1 spot. And I think this is a good matchup to focus on in this game.
Yeah.
Gemini and Kaiwing do so much for the side of Frank, and they're up against very experienced players in Karsa and Sword Art.
And down the bottom there, I think, is really the tale of Frank.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's so much a champion pool
I don't
issue.
think that's fair.
I think it's just that Frank want him to be on an engaged support, because they look so much better when he is able to pick the fights. Now, occasionally, he does sprint it a little bit and looks maybe for fights that he isn't really got the right to look for. But in general, I think he is probably the most successful support.
Yeah,
at finding these big team fight initiations.
Yeah, he is ridiculous once he gets out of lane with these engaged supports, but they're not the strongest laning champs in the first place.
Yeah.
And just as a byproduct of him permanently on these champs, whether it's a good game for it or not, he's going to have some shocking performances.
Damn, that's crazy. Ahri is the only champion that Jimian's picked, and he has the lowest jungle proximity of every single mid laner, which stands out as crazy to me, considering how much pressure Ahri alongside the jungler can often, offer your team, or whether it be walking to bot lane or skirmishing in the enemy jungle, or just fighting the lane.
I wonder if that means the time the jungler spent around mid, or just the time he was near his jungler, because it does feel like he roams plenty on this champ.
Yeah, I think it's the time just around your jungle. Around your jungler, is what I believe.
Oh, so it's not even just... Okay. So he's not even really moving with his jungler. That's not too surprising, honestly. Knowing how Jimian likes to play, he likes to get very farmed up and accelerated, and then take over team fights. He was doing it a lot on Azir. Maybe found another strong pick for it with the Ahri.
Yeah.
And Ahri fits him pretty well as well, because when Frank was struggling, Jimian was getting off to horrible starts, just going down to ganks, going 0-3, 0-4. And never really recovering in those games. Ahri is a very safe champ.
Yeah. So does CFO on the blue side. You have to imagine that means Ahri likely to be the first pick, unless CFO have something cooked up. Nautilus going to be banned away from Kaiwing, which is what we've come to expect pretty much every single draft now.
Yep.
Lucian going to be taken away from Shun. He's been looking pretty strong on that champion. Another possible consideration is probably that Varus, although CFO are actually going to ban that one.
Yeah, fair enough. That probably says... they're first picking Ahri. They could also go for Smolder.
Yeah, I think it's almost certain that this means first pick Ahri, because if you first pick Ahri and something like the Varus is open, then your bot lane is just going to suffer. And yes, you get the Ahri, and Ahri does fairly well into champs like Varus. How far are you behind in their bot lane? How many dragons have you given over is all things you have to consider.
Yeah. Varus also just feels so good because you can pair him with any support, it feels like.
And you can play him in any comp as different ways. In theory, there's an AP build There's also just the on-hit. There's the lethality. So
yeah,
very, very versatile as a champ.
Rumble ban is a little surprising.
Yeah, I mean, Rest looking pretty good on the Rumble, and honestly, it doesn't feel like many of Jiang's champs can withstand the Rumble. The Aatrox kind of can, but you have to build Hex Drinker first, which just delays your power so much. Taliyah going to be taken away from Jimmy, so Ari is still up and available. If CFO aren't to pick it, you have to imagine it'll be immediately picked up for Frank.
The Taliyah's got to be a dead giveaway that this is an Ari first pick.
Yeah.
Not really a champ Jimmy's played all that much this split anyway, and is a good matchup into the Ari.
Kalista, okay. So this should just be Ari first pick.
Yeah, I think the Kalista ban is a bit rough from Frank just because it doesn't give them all that many strong picks to answer with.
Ain't no way we've got Sejuani locked in first. And Karsa's been looking good on it, but...
Very interesting. I mean, we do like Karsa on the tanks. The team just seems a lot more cohesive.
This could mean like something like Yone for Gory. I don't know how well it does into the Ari, but I imagine Ari should be completely fine in that matchup.
Yeah, but at the same time, Yone will be completely fine too.
Yeah.
And Gory has completely taken over games when he gets an even lane on a Yone.
So, to no one's real surprise, it is going to be Ari picked up here for Frank. What are they going to pair it with? Viego is being toyed with. They hovered the Vi just for a moment there.
I think I like the Vi more than the Viego.
I think it's hard to pick the Vi because you only see a Sejuani. I think it's hard to... I honestly think it's hard to pick jungle here. I'm not sure. Like, maybe we just pick support.
Yeah, could pick ADC.
You could always lock Rel and then you can flex it worst case scenario as well.
Yeah.
Now, Vi's going to be locked.
I like it. This feels like such a ridiculously strong first rotation.
Yeah, but Zaya's open, and we saw in Frank's last game up against DCG that had Tide not been so far behind on the Zaya early game, it actually looked like a game where he probably would have just taken over. And we're against the same champions essentially so far. Cassante obviously was a top laner, and maybe that'll swap up, but now that the Renekton's been locked in from Rest, I am kind of just expecting a Cassante lock-in for Jiang.
Oh, will they go for the Zeri blind? DCG did this, and they did get punished with a Kai'Sa pick.
Yeah.
Kai'Sa makes a lot of sense here. It was Frank picking the Kai'Sa last time. And I think Zeri is a great response to Smolder. I have not liked the way it looked when it's not used as a counter pick.
Yeah, I don't think it has the same power as it used to, but it's honestly probably still okay. Jax versus Renekton, an absolute timeless classic up in the top lane. And Jiang being a very good Jax player as well as Renekton player, you have to feel like he's going to know this matchup with like the back of his hand. As will Rest, so shouldn't really be all that much action in the top side. A lot of heavy trading, but ultimately it's pretty hard for either one of these champs to full-on kill someone without the attention of the jungler.
Yeah, it can be volatile, but I don't know. We haven't seen enough Renekton yet.
Yeah.
To really get a grasp on him, and it feels like the level of play from the Renektons we've seen has been highly varied.
Yeah. I've played this matchup quite a few times. In general, Jax is stronger until level 6, at which point Renekton becomes stronger. Yeah. And then as the game then scales further and further, Jax starts to get stronger and stronger again. So you have like a window from 6 till like, 13-ish, where Renekton will be stronger in those trades, and, just by virtue of Jax kind of needing some items. But as the game progresses, it starts to get harder and harder for the Croc. But, I mean, when it comes to team fights, the Croc's not really caring about the Jax all that much.
Yeah, prioritizing the Jax has meant that Frank have to drop AD carry to second rotation, which is going to give CFO a chance to ban the Senna and the Kai'Sa. I'd be surprised if they didn't ban the Kai'Sa just because Frank did so well on it in essentially this exact same draft, maybe a different top lane champ.
You could argue, though, that this is a really good Xayah game, and Eminem has really enjoyed playing Xayah.
Yeah.
There's not really any true threat onto a champion like Xayah against him. There's no long range.
I would just be worried about maybe dealing with the Zeri. Kai'Sa deals with her so well. You can just land any CC onto the Zeri and Kai'Sa will make quick work of her.
Yeah, that's true. I think the Xayah still is completely fine here, especially because you have a Vi. Kind of strange we've locked the Zeri into the Vi too.
Yeah, just not afraid at all.
And I expect it to be the Xayah picked up. Eminem already showing favor towards the champion, even when it wasn't in a good spot, and now it's in a perfectly fine spot, so we'll see what the answer is in terms of the support. Maybe something that can punish it. The Lulu will make this lane a little bit harder. Yet to see the support from Kaiwing, but you're always expecting it to be one of Alistair, Rakan, Leona. Possibly
Rel,
the Rel.
He likes the Rel as well. Rel feels like she'll have a hard time getting on Zeri, but
yeah, it feels better to be like a Leona or something in this game. I think just a follow-up you can have with a Vi.
yeah, that sounds terrifying to play.
It'll force cleanse too, so you won't be able to play this Zeri and have the Ghost to just give you even more power.
Silas. Oh, it's not Alistair now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's never Alistair into the Silas.
Wow, Silas. Okay. It's been a while since we've seen this guy.
Yeah, I think it was Gory playing it last time we saw it as well.
Yeah, great combo with the Sejuani and his AP, unlike the Yone, so...
Yeah, their solo lanes have fantastic pairing with the Sejuani of
And
2 melees, a lot of auto attack resets. Blitzcrank will be locked in.
Just about anything Kaiwing plays is going to have a good ult for the Silas. He's already got Ahri ult, Xayah ult, Vi ult.
Yeah,
so,
Rel kind of sucks. It's not that
true.
bad, but it's not that good.
Yeah, you definitely prefer the Vi ults and the Ahri ults this game.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much always going to be Vi ult. Maybe the Jax ult. Xayah ult kind of sucks because you can't ever pull it back. Yeah, it gives you some safety, but Silas...
Oh, you can't... Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't even
it's
think
a different
about
ability.
that. We do see it into the Ahri a reasonable amount. At least we used to. The Silas into Ahri.
Yeah,
So
I think
he should be
because
fine.
Silas lost the Everfrost, he lost quite a lot of survivability, and it makes it a lot harder to pick because obviously he's a pretty squishy champ that has to get melee to do damage, which is
Yeah,
you know, a recipe for
Roa
disaster.
is the build now.
Lich Bane as well in the solo queue. I think most people in sort of solo queue go for the Lich Bane.
Over the Roa, like
Yeah.
first item?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. That is very scary against a Vi.
I think you can also go Proto Bout, which gives you a little bit of health.
Okay.
It's kind of the same-ish build as Everfrost used to be. Maybe a little bit less health, but still.
Okay. So it looks like CFO have used their time off to cook up an unconventional draft compared to what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
The Zeri blind, Silas, Sejuani first pick.
I mean, looking at draft, nameplates off, I favor Frank Esports in this one. But it's hard to ever truly give it to them when they are up against CFO, who have just been so dominant this entire split. Now, I better quickly get this question into you.
Yeah.
You know, the usual. What is our prediction for the series?
I reckon
Okay. I reckon.
Frank 3-1. That is, yeah, that's an outrageous prediction. I know. But I don't know why. They just look so good. They look like they're absolutely on form. And Frank on form can definitely win this. I think CFO are probably the favorites. Like, if I was a betting man, I'm going with CFO.
You'd
Like
be in chat asking
3-2 or something.
how many kills did Jimmy have last game?
Yeah. But I don't know why. You know, I'm just going to shoot for a Frank 3-1 here.
I think it's 3-1 too, but I think it's probably going to CFO. Frank, I think, are good enough to get a game across the line. Honestly, it could just be this one.
Yeah,
it feels like their draft is just better.
Yeah, it feels like CFO should lose this game off of draft. We'll see what they have planned. I mean, Karsa has 2 lanes he can gank.
Yeah.
Terrifying to be against Silas, Sejuani, or Renekton.
He does
Sejuani.
have 2 lanes he can gank, but unfortunately those 2 lanes are also just an Ahri and a Jax, who are possibly 2 of the safer champions in their given roles.
Yeah, any gank on the Ahri is probably going to have to be happening pre-6. First strike on Ahri.
Yeah, different.
Rather than electrocute.
I think it makes sense, right? You're pretty much always going to be proccing it. Kind of surprised to see Gory with the first strike, although it does get quite a lot of value later on in the game where most of the time you're able to find that sort of impact. And see, though, we haven't really seen a lot of Silas. It's kind of, I like seeing champs like, oh, the synergy.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. They're
Yeah,
on
no,
form.
that's crazy. Maybe it is just a 3-0 for Frank. You're going to see CFO bumping fists.
Yeah. Gemini grabs that ward early. Pretty nice.
+8.
Which means it's going to be harder to keep track of what exactly he decides to do after he does his Raptors. Usually it is just red Krugs back down to bot side.
Yeah.
But we'll at least be able to keep Karsa guessing.
Oh, nice quill there from Sword Art.
Yeah, mid lane going about how you'd expect.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Landon some poke, and Gory not all that phased. Should have D-shield. I didn't actually check, but...
Yeah, Gory does. I didn't see the runes from top, but I imagine it was Grasp versus Conqueror, obviously, and then it should be secondary for Renekton with the bone plating. And secondary for Jiang should be the second wind. As well as, I mean, you can go like Demolish or Overgrowth, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah, Renekton ends up kind of playing poke in this matchup, right? Gory.
Yeah, your trade pattern, because obviously you can't extend a trade versus the Jax, because all he does is press Counter-Strike, and you're sitting there waiting for your cooldowns to come back up. But you just E forward with an empowered Q, and then E back. And at that point, you know, the empowered Q is going to do enough damage that you'll just win the trade as long as you're able to get out. But that's why you take second wind as the Jax.
So once upon a time, DRX managed to win Worlds off of the back of spamming Sylas Akali into this matchup and the Azir matchup with bone plating second wind, and you could just stay in these lanes on 100, 200 HP and just forever. Essentially, that's been nerfed.
Yeah, you can't have
pretty
bone
severely.
plating and second wind.
Oh, sorry, second wind and
Dawn
D-Shield. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, no, that was 2022, and I think like pretty much as Worlds started, like the patch after the Worlds was on, I think was the nerfs to second wind and Doran Shield in the early stages of the game. It is still pretty fine, but yeah, you're going to see it's a noticeable difference in strength for the Sylas, as well as just the Sylas build again is a whole lot less tanky than it used to be. So you're going to suffer for longer.
Yeah, and I mean, these HP differences are definitely more significant these days, just because he definitely can die from this HP.
Yeah, one charm landing from Jimmy and Gory is most likely getting taken down.
Is it always the first strike on Sylas?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can go electrocute, but generally it's first strike.
I guess it's more for later in the game than for lane phase.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're not really proccing it against Ahri.
And this is kind of where you want to be on the Sylas. The Ahri is running out of mana, but 2 biscuits still left for Jimmy and
oh,
yeah, Karsa.
Value.
Yeah. Vision on Karsa.
Oh, Charm does connect, but Jimmy is out of mana now, so is Gory. Jimmy going to pop his bickies, push this lane out, force Gory to teleport back.
Yeah, and honestly, so far, Gory is succeeding in this lane. He's keeping up in CS. Gonna catch most of this off of the TP.
Okay. Also goes for the Lucidity boots.
Yeah, I guess it's gonna let him spam his spells and dodge out of some skill shots. Karsa starting up the Void Grubs. Yeah, should be fine. Traded for the Dragon.
Yeah, I like that as Frank.
I think he might have known Frank were on the Dragon first. So he's gone for the Void Grubs. I mean, almost guaranteed these with a Renekton locked in. So hard to fight into a Renekton at level 6.
Oh my god. Look at Jiang's item.
Oh no, what is that? Is he...
That is a catalyst.
Yeah.
That only builds into Abyssal Mask, I believe.
Yeah, and Roa.
Or Rod of Ages.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the boss play AP Jax. It looked cool in solo queue.
What the... Oh,
Like,
Jiang
I guess it's
is a
Abyssal?
chef. No way. There's no way you rush Abyssal Mask on Jax. This is going to be a Roa.
Yeah, like...
There is no way you're ever rushing Abyssal Mask.
Yeah, I mean, I could buy it if the Catalyst was later in the game. I haven't read the Abyssal Mask item in a while because no one builds that thing.
I think it's still the...
Flat MR.
It takes away, flat MR from people around you.
Karsa's level 6.
Oh, nice dodge out of that Glacial Prison.
Yeah, very close
very,
goal
very
for
close.
Jimmy, and loses his ult, though. And Gory's got an Ahri ult of his own, so quite a bit of kill pressure in mid.
Yeah, so let's flash. He should be fine. Oh, I just want this game to progress so I can see what Jiang is cooking up here.
Yeah.
This is unconventional, I think is a pretty apt word.
Yeah, and it is so surprising just because, I mean, you don't mind Ahri being solo AP. You're probably pretty happy with that.
Especially after how Jimmy was playing.
All right, we'll see it. The lane state's actually Jiang pulling ahead in CS a little bit. I'm sure there's a wave for Rest to farm.
Oh, and then, yeah, Rest actually popping the Dominus for that Grandmaster's Might. It shouldn't really turn into much.
Yeah.
Both are just too healthy. But here comes Kasa. Jiang, you are in a world of trouble here. Arctic Assault lands. Will land absolutely everything. Counter-Strike coming through, though, and Jiang is actually going to be able to wander his way out of there. And honestly, didn't even lose that much health at all.
Yeah, and gets his wave in, importantly. Karsa now walking towards Jimmy and no... Oh, Gemini, sorry. Jimmy and no ulti.
Yeah, Kasa also does not have his ultimate yet. Down comes a lightning crash, and forward will come Shun. Nice stun there from Kaiwing, but Shun going to have just enough damage there to take out that kill for first blood. It's going to be CFO in the bot lane, striking first.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see the Zeri Rakan having enough damage to take down the Rel.
What roll? Oh, no way this works,
3v2.
Right? Renekton no ult. Kasa still no ult.
Yeah, whoever ends up with tower aggro is just eating a vial at the end of the day. Sejuani can tank the tower up for a bit, but... Yeah, they decide to not go ahead with the dive. Also, less inclined to go for a risky dive when your bot lane just 2v2 killed.
And Kasa's hanging around. This dive might still be on, although now he is wandering back. And Jiang has been playing respectful enough to kind of disallow anything from truly happening.
What happened to Kaiwing? Oh, wow. Sword Art appearing out of nowhere, and Kaiwing mistiming his Rel W.
Yeah, getting a little bit greedy as well, maybe, with the flash. Just possibly needed to flash the grand entrance first, but ultimately does not, will go down. Jiang also did eventually get taken out by this dive.
Yeah, okay. Early game behind.
Ages.
Almost 2k gold lead all of a sudden for CFO. And this type of draft from CFO can definitely just run away with the game if they get these kind of leads. Eclipse now on the Renekton.
We'll see.
Karsa probably has ult back.
Yeah, ult's back up at this stage, and I assume he just... It's actually Jiang trying to trade aggressively and just absolutely pays the price. Even loses the flash, so does Rest, and that was a lot less clean than it looked like it was going to be at the start.
Yeah, tanky Roa Jax. Yeah, gets Rest Flash as well. Karsa's ulti on cooldown now. Gemini actually not able to find any angle into this game yet.
Yeah, and it is going to be the Lich Bane first here for Gory on the Sylas too.
Yeah, that could definitely be a target for this Vi. I feel like he must just go down to any Vi ulti.
Yeah, it does feel like it, right? Not going to be all that tanky. Malignant's completed now for Jimmy, and so probably need to look for him to try roam around the map and try make things happen for the side of Frank, as they are slowly but surely falling further and further behind. Nice dodge out of those chains there for Jimmy. As Gemini's in the area, it is going to be Spirit Rush available for Gory on the Vi, but everything's coming down here onto Castle. He's stunned up, he flashes. Spirit Rush has been used, but through comes that cease and desist. Gory going to pop the Spirit Rush. It's going to be Jimmy now who is in trouble from Sword Art, but eventually everyone does get out. Low health bars, but no one going down. And Frank, they are headed down into this dragon. Castle pretty low, and especially when compared to Gemini. But Jimmy, he might have to look for a recall and teleport back if they truly want to contest this.
Yeah, should be second drag going over to Frank, though they seem a little bit hesitant just pulling it out. And very unfortunate fight for Frank. Jimmy actually misses the Ahri charm off of the Rel ulti.
Yeah.
And then doesn't have it up when the Vi ults. So a bit of a bad coordination from Frank there. Probably cost them a kill in that fight, at least a kill.
Sure, now it is going to be that static shiv completed for Shun on the Zeri. We'll have to look to see when Eminem can get Kraken Slayer done. Did just recall, didn't have enough gold, so possibly going to want to stay in lane until that item can be picked up. Now, attention back towards this top side. Karsa's still reasonably low, but Rest playing aggressively, and he's going to be looked on. Through will come Karsa. Kaiwing's here, Sword Art's here. It's a 3v3 up in the top side. Jiang going to jump through. He has that Counter-Strike popping. He does get it onto both Rest and Karsa. Karsa's low, Rest is low, but everything coming around and turning back. And it's going to be Kaiwing going down first. Jiang does have to use that Leap strike to get away. Gemini as well, using the flash. Through comes Jiang once again. Nice stun. They're going to find one kill perhaps. No, the triple kill. It is going to be returned. One Color the Meek, 2 kills, and rest is 4-0 on the Croc in the top.
Yeah, CFO outplayed the 3v3 under the enemy turret. That is going to be a massive crocodile now for Jiang to deal with in the side lane. And I think, again, it comes down to a slight misexecution. I think Gemini misses that, but Kaiwing needs to be going on to rest here rather than Karsa. I think he was trying to hit both with the crash down, but ends up only hitting the Sejuani, who you can't really focus in this fight. And then so much crowd control comes back once they don't cleanly pick up a kill on that first engage.
I can't believe how close this was. Sword Art getting away just...
Yeah, Karsa, I thought Karsa was going to live too.
Yeah, I thought Triumph had done it as well, but not quite. And now it is a 4-0 Croc. It's a 1-0-0. And all you have to show for it, really, is this 1 kill for Jiang. He's got his Rod of Ages now completed, so we'll see what effectiveness that has. I do feel like he's not going to be anywhere nearly as strong as this Crocodile, who is currently sitting atop the leaderboard in terms of gold. Not really all that surprising, considering.
Talking about this matchup, the Jax does outscale as items come in. That's going to be so far away now.
Yeah.
The point where it outscales, when you've got 4 kills on the Renekton, that, you know, realistically, we might just not see it this game.
For sure. It is Frank with 2 dragons, though, so they're definitely going to be able to extend the timer on this game if they wanted to try and play it slow. There's a reasonable amount of wave clear, of course. You have the Zai, you have the Ahri.
I feel like Karsa has had his first item completed for so much longer than Gemini.
Yeah, it is extremely cheap, though.
Yeah. And 2 towers going down at the same time, both sides of Frank just kind of collapsing.
Yeah, Eminem doing respectable for himself.
Yeah. Was just that one early death by Kaiwing.
Yeah.
So Rift Herald almost certainly going down for CFO. Hard to justify taking any fight anywhere near this Renekton. And if you're Frank, you're probably just trying to kill this Sylas, I guess. He has no flash now. We've got to get some Vials with numbers advantage. It doesn't feel like Frank have had numbers advantage at just about any fight. Somehow Sword Art and Karsa are just there to match every play.
Yeah, it has been pretty much 3v3s, right? Just everywhere.
All across the map.
Except for the bot lane, which was just a 2v2 kill found. And that's what's led Shun to being as strong as he has become. Although, if you are the side of Frank, now is a pretty reasonable time to look for a fight despite being behind, because you have all your first items. And there aren't any second items yet through for CFO, and so the relative power between now and maybe in 2-3 minutes time where the second items come through and you're at 1.5 for Frank is, it's a lot better odds right now to look for the fight. And luckily for them, it is going to be the dragons spawning, so they can choose to fight for it. They don't have to. They are up 2-0 in terms of that dragon score. Wouldn't be surprised, however, to see them look for it, as it is just, their team comp that is reasonably strong as things stand, despite the gold discrepancy.
Yeah, it's a bit scary fighting into this Renekton right now.
Yeah.
So I think you can pretty safely just not take this fight if you're Frank. There's the TP coming out from Gory to the bot side. And if not taking this fight means you get some farm on this Jax, you get some farm on the Ahri as well. And CFO can't do anything to your mid lane. They do have Rift Herald, which you have to be mindful of. 2 items now finished on rest.
Yeah, and Frank are going to just be giving over this dragon to the side of CFO. Not really too surprising. Again, they got the 2 first ones of the game, so they have bought themselves a considerable amount of time. And that time they're definitely going to need as they find themselves down 5k gold across the Rift.
Yeah, at 16 minutes, this is going to be very difficult to come back from, especially since CFO have just been mechanically playing these skirmishes better so far. Level 12 Renekton with 2 items at 16 minutes is not going to make your life easy. There is no hope of even really killing in the 2v1, it feels like, if Gemini were to go top lane.
Okay, what are we building now? Triforce? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Here's the Rift Herald, and it doesn't feel like Frank are really in position to defend this. Gemini is coming. Jimmy has TP.
Yeah, Eminem going to be able to clear out these Void Mites, the Rift Herald, and the minions. And
yeah, they hang on to their tower. That is big. If you're trying to stall out a game, holding on to your mid-tier 1 is massive.
Oh, but anti-synergy there, both popping the sweeper.
Yeah, and after the 5-way fist bump to start the game.
Yeah, not good. Ultimately, it's fine. Tomorrow, come clear this ward out. Chemtech Dragon. Well, a pretty weak dragon. I think the upgrades to the plants is extremely broken.
Yeah, they can be double-edged though.
Yeah, it depends. Are you DCG?
Yeah.
Because in which case, you're a karma that blast cones into the middle of 5 people.
It happened again as well.
Yeah, it was tied the next time.
Yeah, it was tied.
Yeah, he's playing center right, and he queued and hit the blast cone he was standing on, and then got thrown into the middle of, I don't even remember what team now. Was it Ground Zero? I'm feeling it was against Ground Zero, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it might have been DFM. I can't remember either.
Yeah.
Jimmy is up to his usual antics this game. Just run into side lanes, catching farm, but the problem this game is that Gory and Shun are ahead of him in terms of farm. So it's not going to be as easy for him to take over a game.
And with the 6 Void Grubs, this tower in the mid lane is probably not long for the world, as Eminem and Gory are just juking it out in the bot lane. Flash does come through, and Jimmy does go down. That's a solo bolo, and Gory getting the better of this matchup in this game.
Yeah, the Silas counter pick working out in the side lane. And yeah, I'm surprised we haven't found a way for Vi to get onto the Silas all game. Should be so vulnerable when he's just got a Lich Bane. But CFO have done a good job protecting him and controlling vision in both sides of the enemy jungle. As I say that, they recall on a ward. So we're going to see what happened in the 1v1 here. Gory has stolen the Ariel. And Jimmy lands a nice charm there, but I guess he just gets hit by the Silas chains? No. Doesn't even eat the Silas chain. Well, he eats the second chain, but...
Yeah, I think as soon as you get hit by one of them, though, you're pretty doomed.
Yeah, so that feels like a really bad matchup for the Ahri. If you can land the charm and dodge a chain, and the fight was even at that point, get hit by the second chain, just go down and it not even look close.
Yeah. It was down like half an item, so it's all right. As it looks like he'll be very close to now finishing up his Liandry's. And Jiang in the top side gets the Triforce. So Jax now should have quite a bit of power. Probably not quite as much as the 4-0 Renekton that we're seeing from Rest, but certainly can come into his own if anyone really on the side of CFO are left alone with him. He will be able to take them out almost certainly. Kaiwing will get hit up by that Arctic Assault, but it's not going to be all that impactful as he's able to just lose a couple bits of health and walk on out.
Yeah, look at the control in this topside jungle for CFO. Wards all over, clearing enemy vision as well.
Oh, Jiang's going to have to flash away. He's trying to trade back. Does have that Counter-Strike available, and with that, may be able to get out the flash over to the Blast Cone. Leap Strike even, as he is going to just get taken out. This Renekton, beyond scary now at this stage of the game, is somehow taking out Jax with ease in that solo lane.
Yeah, under his turret as well. Carson may be in trouble.
Yeah, he's going to have to flash away. Nice charm from Jimmy and a nice follow-up coming through from Kaiwing and Eminem means that this Sejuani is in peril and does get himself out of that situation. But, I mean, all things considered, 7-1, 7,000 gold lead for CFO. They've got enough Baron damage if they choose to go do it. They've got enough tankiness to tank it up, and I feel like now it's really just putting the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and it feels like they've been doing a really good job of isolating the bot lane, drawing all of Frank's attention over to the Baron, threatening to do the Baron or siege the top tier 2, not overcommitting to it, and then allowing their solo laners, who are much stronger in this side lane, to tower dive their opponents.
Yeah, for sure.
At this point in the game, if you're Frank, maybe you have a chance of the Ahri having more impact than the Sylas.
Yeah.
In a 5v5, but solo lane sucks for Ahri.
You definitely need to have the Leandris finish. And luckily as well, Eminem did just finish that Navori, so Xayah a lot stronger now. Kind of still needs to get that LDR online to have real teamfight impact. But
Yeah.
well, I'm sure you'll be able to get it. This game doesn't feel like it's that close to ending. Unless CFO get a Baron and win a fight, maybe it ends quickly. But other than that, I mean, Dragon...
I mean, this is a pretty good Xayah game, if I've ever seen one. 4 melee champions on the enemy team.
Yeah, exactly. And so if he does get to LDR, I think CFO do have to start being quite scared of the Xayah. But until then, hold up, chain connects. Spirit Rush taken here, and Jimin does go aggressively, but
yeah,
this will be the top tower.
Yeah, that's going to be top tier 2, definitely gone. Jimian, with no ult now, is under a lot of pressure. As long as Gemini and...
Quickness. Grand Entrance is going to come through. Lands onto 2. And Jimian does arrive, but he's got no ult. Spirit Rush. It's going to be his ult used by Gory as Kaiwing trying to peel for his team. Going to eventually have to flash away down the bot side as well. It's Rest with the ult going. Jiang as well. And nothing's going to become of it. It's a fairly even trade for them, but the 1 kill found. Gemini does go down to the skirmish up in the top side jungle as they too now start the Baron up.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Frank are even going to be contesting it. They might not even know it's happening. And what can you do there if you're Frank? You've lost your Ahri ult, so you're weaker in a game you're already behind, but you have to walk into your jungle to contest this vision and stop the Baron from being started. It's just going to be a free Baron for CFO now.
Sure will. Putting the final touches on that, and they will. So now the gold has ballooned once more to a 10k gold lead. They have the Baron now to start working away at the base of Frank Esports. Eminem, he's still strong. Jimmy now having that 2-item spike, but still, the rift is looking pretty bleak.
Yeah.
If you're a Frank supporter, as things stand.
Eminem pretty strong, but he's still an item behind Shun.
Yeah.
On the Zeri. 2 levels down in the ADC role, and he is the least behind of his teammates.
Yeah, he's recall. Oh, no, he cancels his recall. I think he actually might be close. He's been just sitting on these 2 items without recalling, clearing waves for a while. Yeah, I'm sure he has the last whisper at least.
Yeah, it's going to take a miracle from Eminem.
Yeah, Grand Entrance lands here. It is onto Gemini and Kaiwing, and they're not going to be taken out. Arctic Assault now from Casa, and while you are very strong, a choke like that is a perfect place for a champion like Xayah to fight in, so it's best not to overforce.
Corey's almost taken this tower on his own. Lichbane and the 6 Void Grubs.
Yeah.
Almost instantly kill it.
He's ridiculous at this stage. Really want to see Eminem get a recall off, but with Baron going, it doesn't feel all that possible.
Karsa's just walked through the mid-tier 2, trying to collapse on Frank in the bot lane.
Yeah, and likewise, it was Frank trying to collapse onto Rest in the top side. They won't be able to do so.
Yeah, risky move. They might lose an inhib for it.
They're going to lose the mid tower. It's another tier 2 going down in favor of CFO. All 3 now taken by them. Inhibitor tower as well is going to get taken out as now the inhibitor is all that stands. And look at Gory's damage to this inhibitor every time he has that Lichbane proc. Just half HP taken off. Bot lane should be going down. So base is now cracked open for the side of CFO. They've got their way in now as they are continuing on to push. It looks like Eminem does get his recall off. I don't know what items he'll have as of right now. I think if he does have that LDR, could be a very, very important item spike. Something that maybe can get them across the line, but it's going to be so hard. In will go Gemini onto Casa. Casa actually getting chunked out pretty low HP, and nice charm lands. They are all going in, but they're on the Sejuani. It's a Magnet Storm onto 3. Eminem's got it all to do, but it's going to be a triple kill here for Shun. It's going to be a triple, not a quadra. The last kill was found, as it's going to be Eminem almost turning that one around. Quadra eventually comes through for Eminem. Rest on the croc, gets the other one, but it is going to be ultimately CFO taking game number 1 in very dominant fashion.
Yeah, little scary team fight at the end there, but Eminem can't quite get it done. They should be able to end. 10 seconds still on Kaiwing. Yeah, it should just be over now. And yeah, I mean, completely dominant from CFO. That just looked frustrating for Frank that entire time. They just couldn't do anything. It felt like CFO got a massive lead, pushed every lane at the same time. Karsa and Sword Art were just standing around in their faces, almost taunting them to go on engage on the Sejuani, and it's never going to work. Obviously, they eventually find an engage onto Karsa, and they do take him out, but they don't, you know, they lose all 5. For Karsa, I think Shun going down at the end there as well to Eminem, who had a pretty decent impact in that fight considering you're 10k gold behind, fighting against a Baron. It was a very good Xayah game, but way too behind in the early game, and Karsa just ran the map. Karsa and Sword Art.
Yeah, I mean, even rest, really. I mean, solo killing down the bot lane. He was up 4-0, but of course it was off the back of Karsa and Sword Art looking for that dive, and Karsa almost surviving that one was ridiculous. I thought the Triumph did top him up enough just to get it out, but unfortunately for them it was not. But ultimately at that stage it was Rest picking up a triple kill on the Crocodile, and he already had one for himself, so just becoming insanely strong. Big mistakes down the bot side for Kaiwing. Possibly getting greedy with the flash. I mean, Sword Art obviously finding a really nice engagement onto him after sort of rotating around the blue side of the jungle, and use that to great effect as they are able to find that kill, an early kill onto the Zeri in a lane that's not necessarily what you're thinking a kill will come out of. Always feels pretty good, and Eminem I think particularly was feeling the impact of that as he never really got to his item threshold. At the end, after he did pick up that shutdown from, you know, Shun coming in getting a quadra kill, he did have the LDR finished, but for the team fight it was only the last Whisperer, which didn't cut the mustard, especially when everyone engages onto Karsa, who is just so tanky. You need items like that to get through him, but wasn't able to do so.
It's so frustrating as well when it's kills going over to the only champ on CFO that deals with the Kaisa. She's the only champ, the Xayah, sorry, who outranges the Xayah. One champ that outranges the Xayah still gets fed on the Zeri as an item up the whole game, and it becomes really difficult to play the team fights, especially because Shun is willing to be aggressive on the Zeri and get damage onto the Xayah to help his team out. And I think ultimately that game came down to just micro mistakes in the early game. In a few of those early team fights or skirmishes, it was Gemini making a couple mistakes, Kaiwing making a couple mistakes, and really costing their teams those fights early on. Otherwise, you know, you have an even game and we'll see where it goes. I'm not saying Frank would have won. CFO were still playing very well, but they were up 2 dragons and looking okay. We thought they had the better draft.
I still do think they had the better draft. I mean, I'm not too sure about the Rod of Ages Jax. I actually just don't know what to think of it.
We weren't expecting that when we praised the draft.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, he was, I believe, first blood.
Karsa gets level 6
was this
before.
First? Okay, no, it wasn't. The
before
first
Gemini. This was his second ult. And I think that second ult came out before Gemini had maybe even used his first. And 2,600 damage on the Vi. This is what we consider maybe the strongest jungler in the game, especially if he can dodge some of its harder matchups like the Poppy or the Xin, who can be very aggressive early game.
Yeah, definitely wasn't enough out of Gemini. I mean, you have so much set up around you. The Jax can help set up. The Ahri, of course, can set up. And you're against a melee lane as well. It feels pretty bad if you pick this champ and you don't find a single gank. Or a single successful gank, shall I say. You defended your top laner a little bit at times, but ultimately even then, it was a triple kill going over to rest. So definitely a lackluster performance here on the Vi. And I mean, it's good into Zeri in a vacuum. Of course, like it is one of the champs that can deal with Zeri fairly well. But when you're just that far behind, you're pretty much doing absolutely nothing. And by the time you ult the Zeri, he's pretty much going to kill you. So
especially when all 3 carries on the enemy team are fed. You ult the Zeri and then you ult die to the Renekton or the Sylas.
Damn. Rest, if he had a little bit more gold for himself, it would have been a clean sweep for him. Very well played game. It is going to be Karsa picking up the MVP, and I think that is very well deserved. He controlled the pace of the early
jungle
game.
Gap.
That was the jungle gap of all time, honestly. Honestly, good thing is that Gemini is one of the more experienced team members of Frank. So you can expect him to still be able to have a strong mental going into the next game, and you don't expect him to have a performance like that again. He certainly is a player that can turn around. Maybe we won't see him on the Vi again because, again, you can just have a day where you're not feeling too on a certain champion, and it did look like he really was a bit lost.
This Q missing from Gemini here was, I mean, pretty impressive dodge from Rest, admittedly, but was the start of a terrible skirmish. Kaiwing also on the Sejuani with her passive still up, probably not the target to go for. I get that he was trying to hit both, though. And then, I mean, they're getting dived 3v3, and at this point they're not even that behind, right? This was the situation that got Rest to 4-0 on Renekton. He was up a kill, sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is what really just completely broke the game.
He picked up a double kill with an unempowered Renekton Q.
Yeah,
that thing does like no damage when it's not empowered. And he picked up a double kill. So perfect timing, and he certainly made the goal that he got from that work. I mean, solo killing Jiang down the bot side and just having control wherever he was on the Rift.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastically well played. Caster as well. I mean, he got the MVP for a reason. He controlled the entire early game, whether it be mid lane, Gemini's jungle, top side, invading as the Sejuani into the Vi, taking the red, then finding that gank, that dive there. I mean, only praise really for Caster.
Yeah, no
and there
complaints.
usually is only praise for that guy.
Yeah, it didn't feel like he was whiffing ults.
No.
Whiffed one at the very end, but at that point he had done enough to essentially just go AFK, right-click into a team fight, tank up some damage, and let his team run away with the game. We got robbed of a Roa Jax game. I wanted to see what he was up to. What was the third item going to be?
Yeah, I think maybe it's just Roa into
regular
build.
Jax?
Yeah, like
that's outlandish.
What do you go as a third item there? Like Black Cleaver, but you have a Roa, so like, do you really want a Black Cleaver? I don't know. Maybe we'll see it again, but for now we're going to go to a break, get everything all reset, get Frank back into gear, see if they can take number 2. We'll see you soon.
You got me off the ground, and I was earthbound. And the mirror was invisible, 'cause I was waiting for a miracle. Hey, you got me off the ground, and I was earthbound. Hey, 'cause I was waiting for a miracle. Like a fire, I feel safe in your wildfire, in your flames, in your barbed wire. You are like a fire, I feel safe in your wildfire. Said I hate to see you go, but you're always back for more. Said I hate when things move slow. You're so far yet so close. This is hello paradise. I can't decide. Show me the light, show me a sign. Said I hate to see you go, but you're always back for more. Said I hate when things move slow. You're so far yet so close.
Well, game number 1 picked up from CFO, and it didn't seem all that surprising, but damn, it was convincing. They absolutely thrashed Frank pretty much in every single role, and they're going to be looking to do it again. But can Frank turn it around? We'll find out very shortly. Of course, once again, the games will be brought to you by the Grand Himalaya Taipei, who without, I say it every time, our playoffs wouldn't be this successful, they wouldn't be this exciting. We haven't seen SoftBank yet, but they have had some time to rest and relax and enjoy the Cirque restaurants, the banquet hall, 425. I assume they're not in all 425 rooms, but imagine it. Imagine just having a hotel to yourself. And at this stage, in the PCS, they are the only team left being able to stay there. So big thanks again to the Grand Himalaya Taipei. And now looking to game number 2. I mean, Frank are going to have to change something up. I do expect them to be on the blue side this time, so it should be a different look in the draft. I actually would like to just see them pick the Ari again. I think it was completely fine. It was kind of the entire map falling apart. Maybe one mechanical misplay where Jimmy missed a charm on pretty much the only gank that we saw Gemini attempt in the game.
Yeah.
That really made it go awry in that mid lane. And I mean, Gemini, he might not want to be Vi again. That was a shocking showing.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Frank because, like you said, a lot of the misplays, like that gank in the mid lane, are you going to miss that? How many times out of 10 will you miss with that much CC in the gank? I don't think we're going to see that from
Frank. It should be 0, but...
Yeah, it should be 0, but I don't think we'll see it again. I think it was just a really bad start to the game for Frank, and against how much CC and how much engage was on the enemy team, they just kind of got choked off the map, and CFO got to choose when they could fight. But it is Frank on the blue side now. I agree with you that they shouldn't shy away from this Ari pick just because the Silas has come through.
Yeah, it didn't seem all that amazing. Obviously, Silas was just ahead of the Ari by the later stages of the game by virtue of, towers going down, objectives being picked up. 6 Void Grubs with a Lich Bane meant that he was just able to one-shot towers as well.
Yeah, found himself a solo kill. Pretty nicely played, but at that point, the game was already dire straits.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank insistent on this Rumble ban.
CFO is just banning away the Sejuani.
Yeah, I guess they really value the Sejuani pick. No other team has really even played it all that much, let alone prioritize it to the extent CFO are.
Yeah. Now, final ban for Frank. Varus open, Callista open, Smolder maybe, but with those two champs open, probably not going to be the Smolder. Callista is going to be banned. Varus would make the most sense. Ari, maybe, if you don't want to just see Jimmy play Comfort once more, but what angle CFO take here?
Smolder, notably, just let through the draft.
Yeah, I think after how we've seen it punished recently,
Yeah.
it has kind of felt lackluster. Again, it feels like PSG are kind of the team that can make it work best. And maybe it is just because Betty's willing to forego having a Spear of Shojin and just pick up a rapid-fire cannon.
Yeah, there are probably a lot of elements, and even PSG don't prioritize it.
Well, well, well. Talia, not banned this time. It was the Sejuani banned instead. And so we are going to have Jimmy and most likely on the Talia. Theoretically, it could be Gemini, but most likely it won't be. Now, Renekton is open. Cassante, the current hover, I'd be surprised to see that locked in. It does feel like a perfectly good Renekton game to pick. No Sejuani to appear with it, so a little bit less power in the skirmishes.
Karma locked in. Makes sense into a matchup like Talia. You can maybe match the shove. At least won't be too far behind in terms of wave clear to the Talia. No dashes for the Talia to shut down. Rakan, on the other hand, might have a hard time being as mobile as he usually is in fights. Can go down very easily to the Talia if Sword Art makes any mistakes on this pick.
Yeah, and now it is the Rakan. Maybe the Jax. Okay, not the Jax. Of course, oh, it is. Okay, this is a flex.
Yeah, true.
We
This
don't
is
know
a
where
flex.
this is going yet. Gemini has played 2 games of Jax jungle, looked really good on both of them. Jiang, of course, playing a bunch of Jax, so no idea who's going to be piloting this champ. I think the smile on Gemini's face might be suggesting it's going to be Jax for him.
We usually see it into the Xin.
Yeah, I think it's just usually a pick away from... They pick the Jax knowing it's a flex. If Jax gets a bad top lane matchup, they just put it into the jungle. But it's going to be Jax top blind.
Yeah.
Diego now picked up for Gemini, so
Yeah,
I was wrong.
I'm not sure if they are being indecisive. Maybe I'm reading too much into the last second swaps, but they have just been shifting through a lot of champs at the last second on some of these picks. Yeah, don't decide to maintain their flex picks at all.
So the top side entirely locked in here for the side of Frank. They're going to have their opportunity to ban top laners to make the experience for Gemini a little bit... for Jiang, sorry. A little bit more pleasant. Gragas seems like a good ban. Rest certainly can play the champ. It certainly punishes the Jax. Senna, 80 carries, probably going to be the focus here from Frank. Senna banned. There is the Xayah, which I don't think feels that good into Karma. Kai'Sa, Zeri, Smolder, etc., etc.
Yeah, CFO probably planning to just pick ADC first thing in second rotation. So they can give themselves a favorable matchup there. And like you said, Frank, pretty obvious lane to target in the top lane. No, they just ban ADCs as well.
I really think you should ban the Gragas.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's just such an annoying champ to deal with, and when you're Jax, you just get punished anyway. Okay. CFO ban Alistar. So taking away one of these tanks, obviously it doesn't look... Well, they're just not going to be picking Sylas unless it went top. And so Alistar definitely stronger in this game than it was looking in the last draft. Second ban for Frank to come through. I think it should be Gragas because you have to feel like Resh will most likely be picking it. Maybe he just opts into the Renekton matchup again. He did perfectly fine last game, and Renekton's banned, so it's probably going to be the Gragas.
That is kind of puzzling to ban the Renekton when Jax was your pick into the Renekton last game, so I think someone's messed up their matchups. He did do very well on the Renekton.
Possible Zeri game. Kai'Sa feels like it will be the answer. Oh. Maybe the Poppy into the Jax. Also another champ that has a perfectly fine matchup. Does very well, in fact.
Yeah. Another matchup where Jiang is just going to have to scale up on the Jax.
Oh.
Jinx would be a little crazy, I think.
Yeah. It feels extremely scary to be Jinx into Poppy, Rakan, Xin. Okay. Are we swapping? No, it looks like it's going to be Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx locked in.
Now, it feels like you probably want Kaiwing on an Enchanter, but it also feels like you'd never want Kaiwing on an Enchanter, so
yeah,
what's going to be the play now?
Yeah, not a whole lot of engage across the board for Frank, and a very reset-reliant comp with the Viego and the Jinx, so it's going to be up to Jimian on the Taliyah. We haven't seen the support pick yet. No Nautilus available.
Wow.
Ah. Okay, the Gragas support denies... Well, I mean, they already picked their top laner. Okay, just a Gragas for fun.
We have cooked.
Okay, we'll see it. Yeah, I thought Kaiwing was running out of engaged supports to play, but goes for the Gragas, and Tristana Rakan against Gragas Jinx is not a matchup I'm all that familiar with.
Yeah, I mean,
they...
In theory, Tristana can't really jump forward, right?
Yeah.
Because it'll be met with a body slam and then the flame chompers. So that feels scary. But it also doesn't feel like Gragas can really go forward, because if it goes wide, he's going to get knocked up, and Shun will be able to find a lot of damage onto him. He's not going to be as tanky as a top lane Gragas, of course, so
yeah,
it is going to be a lot less scary of a Gragas.
It helps you get the resets, but it's still not, you know, the pure engage of a Nautilus or a Sejuani in the jungle. You know, something to actually help get these first resets, because once you get a kill with this Frank comp, you probably just win the fight with a Viego and a Jinx. But the problem is going to be getting them, and I think it's still just on Jimian to land some ridiculous shove.
Yeah, certainly a player capable of doing so. And we'll see if he can make it work. Jiang as well. I mean, if he has a bit of lane for himself, the Jax certainly can come in and take over team fights. We've seen it multiple times. I think notably Lakai and Driver being able to show it. As well as Aatrox is noticeably missing from Frank's drafts recently.
Yeah.
I mean, Jiang played so many fantastic games of Aatrox in a row, and now shying away from the champ and instead picking up the Jax.
Yeah, it felt like his go-to blind and counter pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, in every matchup. Eminem on a champ we haven't seen him on. And
yeah, who did we see? We saw Wako play Jinx against DCG, and he popped off.
yeah, had a pop-off Aphelios game as well.
And
so you
then he
certainly
was no
can.
longer.
Yeah, you certainly can play these champs.
So second win for Jax again, not that surprising, as the Poppy passive is just so annoying to deal with. So much damage coming through.
Yeah, cleanse on the Tristana.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just for Counter-Strike, but...
Yeah, Viego stun, Taliyah, some stuff.
Yeah.
I guess even the Chompers, maybe just really prioritizing I mean, you don't like Ghost on Tristana.
No, but you
Doesn't
do
feel
kind of
that
like heal.
Yeah, you could have played more for the lane, but I think you can cleanse any random CC that might land onto you and give Frank the resets they desperately need. Lets him play a little more aggressively in the late game, maybe.
Karma champion.
So I think Frank bot lane should have priority in the early game. The only lane with priority for CFO, I would think, would be Poppy.
Yeah, I actually don't know the spot lane.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I think Jinx is very good at getting prio on the first couple waves.
Yeah, in general. So is Tristana, though, but it does look like, for now, Frank will have prio. Gragas should just be a stronger level 1 champion than the Rakan.
Yeah, trade's pretty even once this heal comes through.
I mean, he actually had his lethal tempo stacked up somehow.
Oh, Sword Art. Healing a bit off Kaiwing. And Aftershock Gragas is probably just going to be a full tank Gragas.
Yeah.
I'd be in disbelief to see an AP support Gragas. Those are a staple in the normal games I play with my friends.
You really missed out on last split. We had Chelsea and CFO as their support, and
yeah,
he would play Blitzcrank. He was the craziest Blitzcrank you'll ever see.
We've seen one Blitzcrank.
Huh?
We've seen one Blitzcrank.
Yeah, but he would go full AP Blitzcrank.
Nice, with like an Everfrost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be AP Blitzcrank, and he would land every single... There was one game, he was against Hellpigs, the old Hellpigs roster, and they won in like 18 minutes. It was their first game of the split, and he was just playing the AP Blitzcrank, and oh my god, he ran the map completely.
Yeah, that does sound very fun. Yeah, we saw Blitzcrank work out really well the one time it was picked. I think it was Stay True.
Yeah, that would make sense. He was the other sort of resident Blitzcrank player, so he didn't play in summer, but he definitely played it in spring.
Heavy trading in the bot lane. Eminem completely out of mana.
Loses Ghost, it was traded for Shun's Cleanse, so not the worst trade in the world. Obviously, Exhaust was used as well. CF Gory is... Oh,
wow.
my...
Okay. Yeah, Flashdown on the Karma now. Could mean a potential opportunity for Gemini in the mid lane. Though Jimian will have to be worried with his Flashdown. Karma is so good at setting up ganks. As, looks like this lane is going Rest's way now, but the waves have just been bouncing back and forwards.
Yeah, and noticeably Jiang with a massive minion wave to catch and only down 3 right now is going to be up CS.
Yeah, Poppy just feels like one of those champs where it should be good. It should be better than it is because it's kind of just hard to get all the CS on Poppy. I mean, he's definitely putting pressure on Jiang on this shove.
Yeah, and Jiang kind of cursing this minion wave.
Yeah, with the E. Whether, you know, even if he doesn't get all of this, he is still doing perfectly fine on farm. And yeah, Poppy's just been around as a counter pick for so long, and I don't know, it's never felt that powerful.
That was pixels away from connecting.
Yeah, very scary. And this is a scary game for Sword Art in general on the Rakan. Not the tankiest champ, and they've got a Talia and a Gragas who can really disrupt you.
Oh, wow. Dead on the 5-minute mark, and it's going to be CFO starting up the Dragon. Of course, on the top side, Gemini kept claiming himself these Void Grubs.
Yeah, and he's got a nice little XP lead over Karsa this time, so whatever happened in the last game, he shouldn't be beaten to level 6 too badly this game, and maybe can get himself level 6 and make a play on mid lane. Karma is so hard to take down this early, though.
Just ever. So much, I mean, movement speed, the shield, healing, slows. Well, not like a dash or anything, it's just so mobile. And
yeah, a lot of prio for Gory is going to mean...
Who got that? I think Castle got that.
No, Gemini
got it? Yeah. As per usual, Flash Body Slam comes through as Castle's trying to get himself away. It is going to be the Flash answered by Gemini. They're looking for this kill. It's very, very close, and first blood comes through. This time it's going to be Kaiwing rectifying his mistakes from last game. Gemini now on the Zinzao. Going to claim a second one, and Jimian gets that one. So a much better start here in the start of this game for Frank Esports.
Yeah, that's the Kaiwing we're used to seeing. Just wanders up from the bot lane, makes a very decisive play, and gets his team a couple kills. Pretty massive for Frank. Unfortunately, Gemini didn't quite get that kill, that first kill onto Karsa, but still very happy with that result. It looked a bit dicey just because Gory had so much prio in the mid lane, but Gemini even steals away the Raptor, and then they win the fight.
It's Rod of Ages Jax again.
Oh, he's addicted. And I think it was Gemini who got this, yeah. He does get the Crab, lands a nice stun onto Karsa. Kaiwing very decisive with the follow-up here. Out of Fog as well, so no hope for Karsa to react to that ever. And Gory does block the stun from the Viego there, and dodges nicely out of the Talia W, but these champs too hard to escape from without your flash.
Yep. So, Jimian getting that flash earlier on in the lane onto Gory.
Yeah, paying off.
Paying off. Absolutely.
and barely anything.
Oh, Shun. He's in trouble. I think Rocket Jump was cancelled there. Oh, no, he does get it back. And oh my god, that is a 1 HP.
Eminem autoed the cannon.
Oh.
He secured the cannon while going for the kill on Shun, and he gets away on a sliver of HP. Gotta be disappointed in that, but at the end of the day, you still get the Tristana flash, nothing used.
And the cleanse.
On your side. Looks like Eminem did lose his flash earlier, so I said nothing in the way of a punish for CFO off of that mid play, but they did get this Jinx flash, and that can be very scary into a Rakan Tristana. Ouch. Yeah.
Nice champ.
Against Karma, Kaiwing.
And Gory's obviously aware of this, but the seismic shove lands, and now you are in much trouble, as is Karma. Jimmyin needs to find one more, and it's going to be Kaiwing eventually. Has a guzzle of his drink, and
he's just taking over the map on Gragas.
As
was
we
not
expect.
expecting that. Yeah. Jiang as well, just doing it great in this lane. That should be a counter pick for the Poppy.
Uh-oh. Coming back.
He's given up a lot in the bot lane to do this. They have taken just plates in the bot lane as well on the side of Frank. So kind of impressive that Kaiwing has found these angles to roam without his ADC getting too far behind. Uh-oh.
Well, we're going in quickness, grand entrance, and that is one very, very dead Jinx.
Yeah,
punishing
mid-sentence.
the body slam, missing from Kaiwing, and just so decisive.
Yeah, Kais has been baiting out the body slams all lane phase, and it pays off there. Jiang looking in trouble. Nope. Oh, wow, he gets scared off. Doesn't realize that Gory's given up on the kill.
Yeah, Red's going to be quite happy with that.
Yeah, going to be down his flash. I don't think that means Rest is killing him anytime soon. Is going to be vulnerable to a gank, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And we might get to see the Roa Jax in action this game. Didn't really get a chance to do anything, Jiang. Last game. Had a Catalyst. Renekton comes back to lane 4-0. Not much to do at that point.
Yeah, I mean, start of this game, it is looking much better for Frank. I don't think CFO are out of this by any stretch of the imagination. Shun, obviously, now 1-0, and it's Tristana, given the right setup, can completely take over a game, but it is going to be hard into champions like the Gragas and like the Taliyah. Even the Jax.
So setting up for a dive in the bot lane. Look at all this vision for CFO, though. No one's coming to help, though. And Jinx will take out this tower pretty quickly. And Tristana going to lose a cannon here and a few more minions. Jimmyin coming down now. They should just be able to dive Sword Art if they want to. No one is coming. I mean, they're maybe on their way now. But maybe Frank are just playing for the dragon rather than a kill.
And Shun finally allowed to walk up to this tower and...
Yeah, lost an entire wave.
Get himself some farm. Oh, Zap won't land.
That was very scary. Sword Art manages to get a ward in there, though. And will Frank decide to contest this dragon? I think they should be in a good spot to take it. Flash up on every member of their team, except Jiang, who won't be participating. They do have to do this soon, though, because Rest TP is going to be up.
Yeah.
Though he will maybe just lose his tower to Jiang.
Nice work by Rest. Not getting stunned up. It is CFO who start up this Baron initially. Jimmyin, half mana, has Weaver's Wall. But yeah, recalls coming through from both the bot laners, and Frank are going to be okay to give this up. It was CFO, despite being behind, who picked up 3 Void Grubs and now their second dragon of the game.
Yeah, I think Frank had a small window to do the dragon if they wanted it there, but it seems like they're not too worried about it.
Lane swap coming through now.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No, what is it? Hollow Radiance, first item for Rest. Interesting decision. I mean, you are up against an AP Jax as things stand. It will turn into a Triforce and whatnot later, but I guess a bit of magic resist.
And Kaiwing and Gemini both on wards. So it's not just Sword Art putting in the work with Vision. Just Vision control across the board so strong for CFO. And they're going to have a hard time killing this Poppy. She did build magic resist. Kaiwing may be in trouble, though.
Here's Locket. Nice explosive cast. Gets everyone off his back, and no reset for Shun as he wasn't able to get that last auto attack down.
Yeah, could still be in trouble, maybe. But he is going to be missing his flash in these fights.
Now, hold up. Jiang, he's having his way here with Gory down on the bot side, but Gory is just going to be so hard to lock up. In fact, the damage is turning around, and all of a sudden it's Jiang who's the one that's in trouble. Counter-Strike should be able to come through soon, but it's going to be at least the kill picked up for Gory. Jimmy now arrives out on the bot lane. Flash down on this Karma. Flash available for Jimmy, but Gory's just too fast. He's not going to be able to find any of these people's landing. Seismic shove goes wide, and Gory has just blue suede shoes as he takes down Jimmy with some fantastic movement. Up on the top side now, though, it's Jimmy and the rest of Frank trying to find themselves a 3v3. Not going to be able to do so, though, and everything turning around on its head as CFO picks up the map.
Yeah, Rest using his TP to make sure Gory can get out of there, and I mean, Jiang committed to the tower, I think, to make sure he gets it and decides to fight the Karma rather than try and run away. Goes down, and it's not particularly close. It's so hard for a Jax to kill a Karma at this point in the game. And then Jimmian shows up, goes down as well. Nothing all that eventful happening in the top lane. Doesn't look like any flashes. Eminem actually loses his flash in that top lane exchange too, so CFO turning this one around off of some nice plays by Gory.
Yep, 2 dragons up as well, so 2.5 more minutes, and they have their opportunity to pick up that third and land themselves on the soul point. Frank, they have a good amount of scaling. Talia, strong late game. Jinx, of course, very strong late game, as is the Jax and the Viego, so they're not out of this. Obviously, Gold Lead isn't even that impressive. It's Frank that are ahead still, despite the recent events.
Yeah. It's just maybe they'll struggle with cohesion in their comp when it comes to the late game. It's going to take heroics out of Kaiwing, something he's definitely capable of doing. I mean, even this game. And I think what's really hurt them is just his flash being down for this last 5 minutes. Sword Art and Karsa making a nice play onto Kaiwing. I think it was Sword Art and Shun, actually. Getting Kaiwing's flash has really helped this last passage of play. Because it's been Kaiwing doing it all for Frank in this early game.
Yeah. I completely agree. And so, I mean, Gragas, Kaiwing on the Gragas, very close to having his flash back up now. Should be available about the time of Dragon. But meanwhile, I mean, Rift Shield is alive. No one feels like they want to hit it, especially not into the face of each other's teams. And Jung and Rest are going to continue trading down here. It's Rest who wins that one pretty handedly, as, I mean, we still just have a uncompleted Rod of Ages.
Yeah. Same Seraphs on the Talia. Yeah, you saw just how weak these two champs are before they can get these stacks. I mean, we haven't seen how strong Jax is with Aroa, admittedly, but going to be a lot happier once he does get it stacked up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Rift Shield taken down to 7.5 KHP, but it's turning around now as Sword Art does land that grand entrance onto the Gragas. Kaiwing, is he going to try and find a team fight? Doesn't have that flash still, and it looks like we should just be giving over the Herald. Super Mega Death Rocket is going to land, but not really all that much damage. Obviously, the execute on it not going to do anything when everyone's full HP.
Yeah, just blocked by Sword Art and Shun, so that there's no chance of it stealing the Rift Herald. And they're going to make their way to the bot lane. I think if you're Frank, you kind of have to fight this. They don't have TP on Jung. Rest has TP again.
Yeah, and Flash is available now for Kaiwing, so a little bit of maneuverability and playmaking potential on this Gragas back.
That is a scary flank ward. I think Gemini's found it, though.
And then pushing out the mid lane. No flash on Jinx, and Sword Art is also going to lose his flash. Does have ultimate still. Actually, no, he doesn't. He uses it to get himself away.
Yeah, that's going to be massive for Frank, and I wouldn't be surprised to see CFO just not contest it now. Was an opportunity to punish the Jinx, as you said, no flash on her. Can be easy to pick off for Rakan, but loses everything going for that aggressive vision, and Frank punishing it.
Yep, Rest, as well as Shun, though, they're going to answer back top side with this top tower. Should be pretty easy for them to take out, and Mid lane will not be, as there is just a Karma there immediately clearing your wave.
Yeah, pretty much always worth it to take a tower for a dragon, especially when you've already got 2 dragons.
Yeah.
So CFO aren't really all that upset with that. Jiang uses his E to wave clear here. But CFO are being respectful that other members could show up.
Yeah, Rest doesn't know, and it's going to force out yet again Jiang's flash. And mid lane tower, Eminem gets chunked by that Mantra Q. Rift Herald, the Void Mites, the Karma, as well as the Xin. They're almost going to take the tower out. It does survive, but that is just one stiff breeze away from going down.
Yeah, essentially taking the mid tower. There's not enough wave clear to stop them from just getting one random auto onto this tower. Poppy could even show up and throw a buckler at it. 20 CS up for Gory. That's come kind of out of nowhere. He did pick up a double.
That 2v1 was probably what caused that in many ways. Almost with that Horizon focus. And
so I would think that Jax...
Oh god. Oh no, body slams miss. Gory is just juking. He's dipping and diving and dodging absolutely everything. Jimmy taken out. It is going to cost them the Xin Zhao ult, but you're going to take that every day of the week if you are CFO or their fan. Rest now, he's coming from behind. Nice stun's going to stop him from finding any real engagement. Projecting up his Jinx. But once again, I mean, everything thrown at Gory and he just sidesteps it all.
Yeah, Gory completely outplaying again. He's a problem on this Karma. Already a difficult champ to kill when you're dodging everything as well. You know, invincible. Not a whole lot of CC on the side of Frank, and none of it reliable. So if you miss with any of that, you're not getting these resets on Jinx or Viego. And gold lead back in CFO's hands.
Tell you what, this is a big change of pace from last game.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a better look for Frank, but even ever since that early game play from Kaiwing, nothing since then has really gone Frank's way.
Yeah, we have looked a bit flat-footed since that moment. Jax now with 2 items. Jiang going to be a lot stronger this game than he was last game because he's not going up an already 3-item Renekton.
Yeah, Jax would outscale in this matchup, I would think.
Yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon.
Oh, okay. Weaver's Wall used to make sure Jimmy isn't just taken out. Takes a large chunk, though. These Mantra Qs are truly hitting like trucks.
Yeah. Sword Art constantly invading the enemy jungle by himself and getting vision down. Looks very frustrating to play against this Rakan. And, you know, Kaiwing, not the same amount of mobility. There's the Roa proc. So Jiang finds himself a level up now. But not much sustain in his build, right? So
no, I mean, the Rod of Ages has sustain in it.
Yeah, it heals you per mana spent.
Yeah. And you are just smashing out abilities perma as Jax.
Yeah, it's just nothing close to something like, you know, the Sunder we used to have.
Yeah, he could still maybe go Sunder a third. I actually don't know now. I mean, we didn't get to see it last game, what he goes for third item.
Yeah.
So we'll find out now, because this game truly isn't that close to being over. It's just 2 dragons to 1. Gold is relatively even. It is now a 1,000 gold advantage. As forward will go Rest, but now he's in a big trouble. Explosive cast comes through. This should be reset 1. It is. Eminem and Gemini now. They're going to have their pick of the litter as to how they want to play this team fight. Carson now getting constantly auto-attacked. Eminem has ramped up his lethal tempo, the speed from those guns in some way, somehow. CFO new to the storm and get away with murder.
Yeah, that looked very scary for CFO once the resets came through for Eminem and Gemini, but Sword Art getting away on a sliver of HP, re-engage.
Yeah, Shun flashing away. He's looking for Eminem. He's looking for Jimmy and flash over. Rocket jump. He's jumping out, but Eminem got one auto on him. It's not going to matter. Shun with a fantastic outplay alongside Gory, going to secure the kill there on Jimmy in the mid lane.
Yeah, loses his flash, but you're not going to be missing it all that much on Tristana, especially not in this game. And Jimmy is just getting dunked on all game this game.
Yeah, he's having a rough one.
Nice flash from the Tristana.
I want to see Jinx items, because that's probably the most important thing for Frank.
Yeah, he did lose his flash in that fight, though, to the engage from Rest.
Oh.
And it looked like they'd be able to turn it around onto Rest, but Rest of CFO playing so well to get away there.
Yeah, Dragon number 3 now. CFO have started it, and it's getting quite
Jimmy
low.
Said, or is walking out of base after dying.
Yeah, this is just gone. A nice find for CFO. Obviously, delaying the kill on Jimmy meant that he is not going to be alive for the Dragon. But now all 5 members are mid. Sword Art recalling. It's 5v3 even, if CFO choose to fight it. But Sword Art's coming around. He's found himself a nice wee pocket of vision.
Yeah, it's 5v3, but who's the engaged that's actually going to start this fight for Frank? They have everyone here.
Flash body slam.
Yeah, they have everyone here and they're ready to fight, but as long as you're not landing the flash body slam onto exactly Gory or Shun, and even Shun can buffer some of the CC from the Gragas. Jiang taking so much damage.
Sword Art going to come through. It looks like the quickness was used, the Grand Entrance as well, but it's not going to be Jung really that's in trouble. It's Sword Art as he does get taken out. No reset, of course, as there was no Jinx or Viego in the area. Jung as well. It's looking like he is not much longer for this world. Counter-Strike flash. He's actually getting away. Gory's going to flash after him. On the other side, though, there's going to be another kill found. Rest going down. It's a reset. Once again, Jiang with some fancy footwork, but isn't going to be able to do that 1v3 on 1 HP. And all of a sudden, it is going to be 3v4 for the team fight. Eminem does not have sums available. Does have the ult and Gemini flash. Coming flash. You have to be careful if you are the side of CFO.
Yeah, ends up just being a bunch of kills thrown around. More kills going to Frank. And Jung finds his way onto Sword Art and gets back into the lane to defend this turret with their numbers here for CFO.
Let's take a look.
See what happens.
Yeah, we saw this part, but...
Yeah, gets his E off importantly here. Buys so much time for his team. Jimmy loses his flash here because he's worried about Rest coming over the wall, and he just needs to get away from Shun.
Did you see Jiang just walk through the wall, by the way? He just strolled through it.
But probably a spectator bug.
Oh.
I would think that would probably warrant a pause if he was gliding through walls on the Jax.
Well, to be fair, no one probably saw it other than him, and he wanted to get through the wall, so we take those.
I mean, Jimmy is having a rough game. He's not... Oh, he is pretty far behind in items. Gory's about to have his 3rd.
Yeah, Crypt Bloom almost online.
Yeah, level behind on the Talia.
Okay, so it looks like it's going to be either Randuin's or Frozen Heart 3rd.
Yeah, I don't
Jax.
think he's ever killing Poppy this game.
Possibly not, but it's going to make it very hard for Trish to kill him.
Yeah.
Buying some time. Because again, you just need 1 reset. So if you're able to give time to this Jinx, and honestly the rest of Frank to ramp up, try and find 1 single kill, it could just be the difference maker.
Yeah, just trying to be, I guess, a body in the front line and a CC bot. Jax can buy a lot of time.
Yeah, especially when the main damage coming through from CFO is all auto attacks.
Yeah, I mean, this Karma is going to be hurting, though.
For sure.
Jimmy can't really walk up and hit this tower, especially since Gory just solos him. 3 items now on Gory. Not going to be a 3rd item finish for Jimmy here.
Is going to be working his way to one of Void Stuff or Crypt Bloom, most likely Crypt Bloom, but...
Yeah, seems to be everyone's decided that that is the better of the 2 AP pen items. Level 16 on Jiang. He is 2 levels up.
Yeah.
Thanks to some help from the Roa.
Yeah, menacing is this Jax.
Yeah, I just feel like he's not a side lane threat with these items, though.
Yeah, possibly not, but I don't think he wants to be.
So...
The ARAM, once again here. That is obviously Baron on the cards. It is Soul Point as CFO stand currently with 1 minute on a potential Dragon Soul for themselves. Kimtech Soul, not the most impactful, but certainly it's going to help your chances of winning substantially if you are able to pick it up.
Yeah, this Tristana is a problem with the support of a Karma.
Yeah.
Shun has been playing very well so far on the Triss. And Rest finds his way onto Jiang. Counter-Strike now down.
Yeah, but that's only like a 5-second cooldown, I swear. I mean, that ability is disgusting. We aren't really doing a whole lot. There shouldn't really be a whole lot happen, honestly.
Yeah.
We're kind of just scrapping to scrap.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how Jiang finds his way into a fight. It's so difficult against Poppy. And hard in the first place to get on a Karma or a Triss. Gory has just been guarding this pink ward. hoping that Jiang walks up to hit it this entire time. Catches Kaiwing finally.
Kaiwing shouldn't care too much. He is Gragas.
Yeah. A bit of a standoff. Frank on their way to Baron.
Yeah. CFO just really want to get prio over this mid wave. It's going to make this Dragon so much easier. Shun has started it.
Oh.
And Jiang should be able to spot out that this is going on. Down to half HP now, and through will come Demacian Justice, but it's going to miss, and all of a sudden, the team fight breaks out, and Caster has taken so long. A lot of CC, one reset could be the difference maker. There it is, they get the reset, but there's no way for the body to be picked up, as it's going to be ultimately Gemini who gets taken out first. Eminem has jumped on, Shun's going mental. It's a double kill for Shun. 4 in total go down, only Eminem survives, and CFO are firmly in control of this game.
Karsa tanks up for so long with the Zen ult there. Jimmy and Eminem can't get close enough to do damage to him, and Jiang doesn't have much damage in his build. Gemini gets picked off before the reset happens there, importantly. So it's not as snowbally as a team fight as it maybe could have been. And you kind of saw before that fight broke out how spread out CFO can stand. Shun is just hitting Dragon. Karsa is standing around Baron with 3 people in the mid lane because there's just not much threat of an engage coming on to CFO. When they do find an engage, it's been on to Rest and Karsa, who don't mind all that much being engaged on. And while you're trying to finish off this Poppy and this Zen, I mean, you're free hitting on the other side. Nice dodge on the Poppy. Ulti here, and Karsa takes so long to go down because he flashes away from Eminem. He just tanks up for so long. Eminem losing his flash just to get away from him too. And Gemini is dead. And I don't know what happened to Gemini that fight, that he did 100 damage. And nice flash from Shun.
Yeah. Nice wherewithal from Jimmy and to know exactly where Tristana will land, but fantastic reaction from Shun to dodge out of it anyway.
Soul to CFO looks like.
Yeah.
Jinx Rocket tries, but...
Eminem is very close now to having LDR, but on the other side, it is 3 items on Shun. This Tristana is so accelerated. It's so hard for you to kill anyone through the Karma.
Yeah. And he's only... We said Jimmy would have to have, you know, a ridiculous game on the Talia, finding these shoves, but Shun has been able to just use flash on every Talia shove.
Yeah, pretty much.
Could hit him because there's not much threat that you can't just use the rocket jump for.
Oh, teleport coming through. Jiang is in a world of trouble. He's going to know. He's going to get stunned up, but how do you ever get out? Especially with this blast cone. Gory not waiting around to be able to use it with Sword Art, but they are just going to be able to find Jiang. He's going to go down, and nice teleport from Gory, going to confirm that one.
Level 17 on Gory now. 2 levels up on Jimmy, and no Roa needed. And he tries to clear out the wave, but Baron minions on the wave. Pretty much everyone at an XP advantage on the side of CFO. Usually what happens when you take a Baron.
LDR now completed for Eminem.
Yeah,
he does not have sums.
He's got a lot of work to do again this game.
Down 2 levels as well.
Yeah.
Is this Jinx.
Yeah, he kind of just has to avoid this Tristana all game, as well as these Mantra Qs. So they've got a stall for Jiang to come up.
Well, he's doing a bit of damage now to this Poppy, but through will come Keeper's Verdict. Is it going to land? No. Yes, it does. It does find its mark. It's going to be Eminem hit away from this team fight. Coming, trying to body slam out of there, but he's not going to be able to. This Xin Zhao ult tanking up so much damage. Through comes Sword Art, but Sword Art's going to get very, very low. He is stunned up. Eminem's trying to find the damage. Eminem's going to find at least 1 reset here onto Karsa. Is it going to be enough, though? 4 members versus 3. Eminem has all of the work to do, as 1 reset did come through, but there's not really any more damage they can truly find. Recall coming through now. Rest, it's actually going to get cancelled. He was looking for that teleport back. Jiang finds a counter-strike. Shun going to be the resultant of that, and 1 tower does go down to CFO. They're gonna take what they've got and just walk on out of there. Knife's edge, any Jinx reset in the right position, and these could be completely over, but CFO, they are playing perfectly around the Diego Jinx.
Yeah, even when they get the resets, CFO know when they need to back off and get out of there. Shun getting value out of his cleanse that fight with a cleanse onto the Jinx Chompers, I think. An item up now on the Jinx. or Tristana is on the Jinx. 7-0-2.
Yeah, extremely scary. Working towards now what is most likely going to be a Bloodthirster as that 6th and final item. On the other hand, though, it is Eminem who, I don't know what he'll build. Rapid Fire Cannon, Runans, Phantom Dancer in theory, but probably not. But sure, I mean, you see it there. Look how much gold this guy has in comparison to everyone else. 4K above the closest member of Frank, who is Jiang. It looks like he's building Terminus now.
Yeah, it's pretty rough for Frank now in these fights. It just feels like they don't have enough damage to get these resets, and they certainly don't have the lockdown.
Weaver's Verdict once again is looking for Eminem, and it finds it, lands its mark. Weaver's Wall, nice though. Just going to be a trade of that Talia ult for the Poppy ult, and so there is no push to come through off the back of, once again, a well-placed Keeper's Verdict from Rest.
Yeah, and I think if you're CFO, you'd rather have closed this one out before the Elder comes up. It looks like the Elder will be up this game. Jiang very far up, though.
Yeah, hold up, Rest. He's on to Kai Wing. He's going to use that steadfast presence for the movement speed and get himself out of there. As mid lane inner tower does go down. Constant super minions up in the top lane as the inhibitor was taken out in their prior push means that constantly Frank are just having to deal with more and more pressure as time goes on.
Yeah, I think Gory's damage numbers this game are going to look ridiculous.
Yeah, the Mantra Qs are just...
Yeah, they're taking like half HP off of Gemini or Kai Wing when they do connect. Eminem has to be very careful.
Yeah, if Tristana just jumps on him, he's gone.
Yeah. And yeah, again, it's another rough ADC matchup for Eminem. It seems to be what CFO are focusing on. He did get to pick his matchup in the first game. But yeah, again, Trist is very annoying for Jinx to play around, especially when your teammates are so low on damage and behind. The Tristana can just, if Shun really wants to, he can probably 1-for-1 this Jinx pretty reliably.
Yeah. I absolutely feel the same way. Now, once again, a bit of an ARM in the mid wave. Baron has spawned. There is Elder Dragon very soon to be up. Keeper's Verdict comes and it lands once more. This time it's onto Jimmy, and who will not have that Weaver's Wall just yet. He does actually get it up as I say that, so Jiang as well. He manages to get away, but now it's going to be CFO starting up this Baron. They're going to shred through that health bar. And Magic Q going to be denying as
Gemini
much as they can. Rest, he is kind of caught out here. He's going to have to flash away. Gemini now, he's in the absolute middle of them. Kaiwing flashing away from Casa on the Zinzal. Now the Zinzal ult is gone down. Are they going to be able to find a reset? Eminem has to find auto attacks, but through comes Gory. That Mantra Q is going to eliminate Eminem's health bar. Through will come Shun. Double kill. We've seen CFO with a Penta on Tristana before. Triple kill. It's not going to be the Penta as Sword Art does claim kill number 4, but it is going to be CFO in a lot harder fashion, but certainly picking up game number 2.
Yeah, still a pretty clean game. It ends up taking some heroics out of Gory this game. Felt like that bot lane play was really what turned the game around.
Yeah.
He manages to essentially 2v1 the solo laners of Frank. It feels like Frank lose all momentum from that point forwards. It was already going to be a pretty hard game to play because of the comp they had drafted. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this Jax build.
Yeah, I mean, that game didn't come down to Jax. That game, honestly, just turned completely on its head when that 2v1 happened down
Yeah,
bot.
Gory was just completely outplaying the entire game.
You are then a Jinx against a Karma, who is just the strongest champion on the Rift. It is already hard to play the Jinx. Playing the Jinx into something that outranges you and chunks you for half your HP, if it lands, it's pretty easy to land skill shot, is not ideal. Not only that, most of these team fights, the only person Eminem could hit was Casa, who had the ult going, and so Eminem wasn't actually doing any damage. Not only that, the other person you could hit, Poppy, who was just unkillable.
Yeah, extremely tanky.
As well as Rest, just every time they were looking for an objective, he'd land the Keeper's Verdict, and then all of a sudden, well, you're 4v5 now, we are going to take a tower
he missed
or
one
pressure mid-wave. Yeah.
The entire game.
Yeah, and it was almost a crucial one, right? Because I believe Frank actually doing pretty well in that team fight in particular, but it wasn't enough. CFO, they are just too clean with it. They fall behind a little bit in the early game, but turn it around so well. Mainly off the back of Gory. You got to give credit to Shun, though. I think he finished that game 11-0-3 or something along those lines. So just fantastically well played by both the carries of CFO. Shun should be picking up the MVP.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Oh, Corey.
Yeah, I think Shun should get it.
Still.
Yeah, I mean, the team fights were won entirely because Shun was just popping off. Every single
true,
ability in
but
these
Corey
team fights were aimed at Shun, and all of them missed.
Yeah.
He was dodging absolutely everything.
Yeah, fair.
If he gets hit by one, Jinx gets a reset, and the team fight's over. I think he played immaculately the entire game.
Yeah, true. He was like 7-0-2 before that last fight even happened, where it looked like he was definitely getting a penta.
Yeah.
Didn't quite get it.
Was very close, though.
I think a problem in this draft for Frank was just revealing their Jax flex super early, because we see Jax both here in the PCS and internationally. Jax picked as a counter pick to Xin in the jungle. So you show your Viego in the first rotation and you allow them to take the Xin freely, getting a good matchup into Viego, and Xin had massive impact in that game. Carso was so unkillable.
Yeah. Honestly, this felt like the most unplayable draft for Frank. I think CFO was so much better in this draft. I honestly feel like maybe you just had to have the Ahri again for a little bit of consistent single target, because the Tilia, it has the seismic shove. If that misses, you're pretty much out of options. Whereas the Ahri at least has, you know, the ult was going to do damage. Foxfire, just lower cooldowns that do higher damage. And it did feel like you were missing something. I agree, the Viego and revealing your flex didn't feel good, especially when we know Frank are so good at using the Jax jungle. Feels like you probably should have just held that flex. Maybe you still put the Jax in the top lane eventually, but holding it, picking maybe a stronger AD carry, you could even go for something like the Senna, and then, you know, pair it with whatever you want, because Kylan likes his tanks anyway.
You could have picked ADC in the first rotation,
Exactly, yeah. Even if you go for like the Zeri or Smolder, I mean, it felt like Jinx, Frank were cooking with the Jinx, and it was not really good enough.
I approve the Gragas.
Yeah. No, me too. Kaiwing put the early game on his back.
Sword Art living on a sliver of HP there means this fight isn't a total disaster for CFO. They might get wiped there if he goes down. Just more resets for Gemini and Eminem. But this play by Shun was another moment that really broke the game open, and he's never had to use his flash like this entire game, I think, up until this point. And a very nice flash there, so that he can finish off
auto-attack Eminem, but...
yeah, we take those. Almost goes down. If that was a crit, maybe goes down?
It would have been close. But he doesn't. He doesn't go down a single time in the game.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the result. Corey, we're not surprised by this damage. We are surprised by everyone on Frank doing no damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
I think we're going to see Pretender from here on out in the series.
Yeah, let's get Pretender in.
Yeah. Feels like maybe Jimmy have an off day. Sorry, we don't really expect to see him fall this far behind. And honestly, in lane it was fine, but just as this game progresses, he became more and more useless. Sort of just by virtue of being a Talia, and you are just behind against champs that outrange you and just have so much mobility.
And then you're hitting a Xin and Poppy. Xin with ult up a lot of the time. They're getting Karma shields. You're just not getting through these champs.
And Poppy also just being able to build MR first item into a Jax because Jax is gone for the Rod of Ages.
Yeah, I really hate the Roa build just because Jax can become a threat in the side lane, even against the Poppy. It is dangerous to play in the side lane for the side lane win condition against the Poppy, because she can keep you in place. You're a lot less mobile on the Jax. But with the build he had, it looked like he was still 2 levels up losing trades to the Poppy. There had to be a different build he could have gone for that game.
Oh, Gemini invading, taking the most damage per death. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, he only did go down once that game.
Was it at the end? Oh, he didn't even die at the end, right? He was the last person alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shun most kills. I mean, we saw that. 11-0-3, I think. And it is going to be Shun picking up that MVP. It was 11-0-3. Say what you will about me, I remember.
Yeah.
Very sizable gold lead.
Credit to Eminem putting out as much damage as Shun did that fight.
Yeah.
Jinx definitely the stronger team fight AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, both AD carries good with resets, but Jinx just ramps up a lot harder.
Yeah.
You need a kill as Jinx to ramp up to become better, but without the first reset, it's always going to be Tristana favored. Just so much single target damage coming through with that satchel charge. No, explosive.
And no one but the Jax can really tank it here. And I want to see what happened to Gemini in this fight, because he essentially goes down doing 100 damage this fight. Yeah, I still don't even see him. I was looking for him that fight, and I could not find him still. Someone must have absolutely blown him up that fight. Maybe it was Shun with another nice flash onto the knockup from the Talia.
Well played the whole time and deserved MVP, I think. When you're up against so much CC and honestly, if you get hit by any of it, you probably do just go down. There's just going to be so much follow-up. You know, there is the shove, depending on what lands first. But the shove, there's the counter-strike.
Yeah, I really like the cleanse out of him as well. Just because the CC is so scattered on the side of Frank that he gets hit by one, and he did occasionally in those fights get hit by one piece of crowd control, and he can just cleanse it, and the odds of another crowd control hitting you are just so low on the Tristana.
Yeah. Especially with how fit he was. I think maybe how strong he was makes the cleanse look a little bit better than it would have been if he was just even. But ultimately, if you're going to get that far ahead, you may as well have the cleanse. Game number 2, all done and dusted. CFO now, match point for them for the next 3 games. Can Frank bounce back? We'll find out shortly. Welcome back, everyone. Match point now for CFO as they look to put the finishing touches on the Frank Esports organization here in the upper bracket. But of course, Frank, they have the opportunity to turn it around. And that's all thanks to, once again, the Grand Halai Taipei. Without them, I mean, we just wouldn't have as much of a fun time in the PCS playoffs. I mean, imagine not having the LJL teams who put up such a fight against DCG. V3 giving Oceania their first ever win. It's been a PCS, a historic PCS.
Yeah.
Ground Zero as well, possibly the worst 20 minutes of League of Legends we've seen.
Yeah, or best.
All best,
yeah,
yeah.
depending on how you feel.
That's for sure. But again, all thanks to the Grand Halai, so a big thank you to them. And now, Frank Esports, I expect we're going to see Pretender play now because Jimmy's looked a bit rough these last 2 games.
Yeah.
Does that change a whole lot? It doesn't feel like it does. I think CFO are just sort of steamrolling these games, and I don't think changing out the player is going to do a whole lot.
Yeah, especially when it's not really just been Jimmy who's suffering. I think he is getting gapped by Gory, especially in that second game. Is Pretender going to turn around and destroy Gory? I guess we'll see, but I think that's pretty unlikely with how well Gory has been playing. And the rest of the map for Frank has just been kind of suffering.
Yeah.
Not really up to all that much. Kaiwing put on a good effort, especially in the early game of that second game. But
and there we are.
Yeah, there's Pretender in.
To no one's surprise.
Yeah, we'll see if he can change the atmosphere maybe and get these team fights looking a little bit better. Different champion pool.
Well,
bit of a
not
different
on the
play
playoffs.
style. Yeah, true. Just Ari all the way.
Which is a concern, I guess, because Jimmy has looked like the better Ari between the two. But maybe we can see something like the Karma now for Frank. Nico as well. Something that some teams, DFM notably, having a really good time on and beyond. We'll see. Obviously, Pretender tends to pick stronger laners.
Yeah.
And so
that could help
maybe
out.
that's going to help. Have a bit of prio, make Cass's life a little harder.
Yeah, it feels like Gemini's been completely strangled out of these games. Very low impact in both these games.
Frank will be blue side. Maybe it's just time to try to get the Siege on. I mean, it was just banned by CFO last game, so...
Yeah.
Or just put the Rel in the Yug.
Yeah, Gemini, for most of the split, was just locking in Rel and getting it done. High impact on a tanky jungler. Already very good with the smites. Rel helps out too.
Rumble once again, man.
Yeah,
maybe it's time to see Jiang Aatrox again as well.
Yeah, I've not been impressed with the Roa Jax. I hate it.
We hate those.
I don't know if it's something he's come up with or it's being played consistently or...
All right, it's time to lock in the Riven. I've changed my mind.
Yeah. They are on blue side, so it makes the Riven so much more unlikely.
Yeah, doesn't it? He picked it on red side, blue side last time, though.
Yeah, maybe if he sees his matchup. Don't pick Udyr into him.
Yeah. Would be cool to see something more akin to the carry performance. Something like, you know, the Riven, the Renekton even. Camille would be cool to see.
Yeah, he has a Camille game under his belt.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, though.
Again, with the Talia first pick, it looks like, for Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to be facing up probably against Gory's Karma.
It would be interesting to see them not lock the Karma, because if it ain't broke, why would you fix it? Maybe the Renekton. This does mean that Jiang will have his choice of matchup. It could just end up being the Cassante, but I hope we see something more carry-orientated out of him, especially when you have Pretender in it. It feels like Jiang has more weight on his shoulders to find damage and do carrying, because Pretender tends to be a really good team fight player, more so than, you know, you expect a lot of damage coming out of Jimian most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to be doing a bit more damage on the Talia than facilitating. Not as impactful as a Nico in team fights.
Oh, not after game 1, the 2,000
I like the
damage
Vi.
incident.
I like the Vi.
I'm scared.
A lot easier to have impact on the Vi. Last game probably looks quite different if it is a Vi instead of a Viego.
Maybe the Renekton for Jiang. He's looked pretty good on it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Get it away from Rest.
Yeah, Rest looked great on it.
There it is, locked in.
Not getting a massive amount done in the 1v1. Did get Jiang low enough in the 1v1 early on that he could be dived by Sword Art. And then picked himself up a triple kill, and yeah, that was all she wrote that game. Gragas we've seen a couple times into the Renekton. Gonna go for the Xin that was super impactful last game.
Yeah, you kind of expect whatever caster to lock in, he's going to have impact on it. He's just such a good player.
Yeah.
And it will be the Xin Zhao again, another champion that has found a lot of success, and for a player that finds success continuously, it always feels pretty good. And it is, so far at least, CFO just completely running back their draft from the last game. We'll see if they do continue to go through that. I can't remember now for some reason.
Senna,
Poppy
yeah.
was their top laner. Poppy's fine into Renekton. You could just still go it, and then it was just the Tristana. I don't know about the Tristana and Devi though.
Yeah, Frank again banning Xayah is pretty interesting. I guess it's good into the Vi.
Yeah,
This time around makes a bit more sense.
Maybe it's just time for Eminem to lock in the Smolder. You're against Rakan, so already the support isn't that strong into you. Karma can be pretty rough. As good as Xin, but you should be fine from the Xin.
Ali banned away makes sense. Again, no Silas pick, and it's a good matchup into the Rakan.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. It's going to be...
And I hope they're willing to play the Gragas again.
Yeah.
It was about the only thing going for them in the last draft.
Okay, so Smolder was just banned from Frank. Realizing they are second pick, maybe just going to be Cassante for rest, and he has looked very good on the Cassante, so we will likely see it locked in. Maybe there's a last-minute pivot.
Yeah, probably the most common counter to Renekton we've seen at this point. Or
counter's a big word.
Yeah, response.
Maybe the Ornn.
Oh, go on. Oh my god, he locks in the Ornn. Been a minute since we've seen this champ.
Yeah.
Not really the most exciting. It's exciting to see a new champ, but he's not the most exciting guy in the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there is a lot of single target CC that Kaiser is going to be able to follow up on if it is locked in here. And we see Eminem picked it twice. He looked really, really good on both occasions, so wouldn't be too surprised. Back against the wall, you're still fighting for this upper playoff spot. You don't want to fall down to the lower bracket where you will be going up against one of Beyond or DCG.
Yeah, staying in the upper bracket is going to mean you have that extra life in your back pocket, right?
Yeah.
Once you go down to the loser's bracket, it's really do or die there. Once you've lost the series, you're out of the playoffs.
And of course, Beyond as well as DCG are two teams you don't really want to be going up against, so...
Yeah, they do decide to keep the Gragas. I like that. And Gragas is going to be more following up on the Vi engages, along with Talia this time, rather than having to do it all himself.
Yeah, and if CFO lock in the Tristana, essentially the same concept of a comp. You're only replacing the Poppy for Ornn, and Ornn is actually just a stronger team fighter than Poppy anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe
should be much stronger.
Oh, what are we going for?
I think the Zeri fits the comp a bit better. I like that they've gone for it. She's got a Karma and a Rakan to facilitate her in these team fights.
And an Ornn.
You know exactly who's getting Vi ulted this game, though.
That is true.
It's going to be up to Sword Art and Rest. Oh, and I guess all of CFO really can peel for this Zeri.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe Frank are going to have to catch Shun out of position And more importantly, when they do find them, they have to have clean goes. You know, you can't be messing up Gragas ults or Talia shoves once this Vi ult has gone on to the Zeri. Or you just won't have the damage to kill her with how much support she has on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. So CFO, right now, as things stands, 2-0 up in the series. They are 1 win away from punching themselves a ticket to the upper bracket finals, at which point they will be meeting one of SoftBank Hawks or PSG tomorrow. But it's Frank who are also trying to do the same. They have to win 3 straight. It's going to require a reverse sweep out of them. They have the players, very talented group of guys. At least their season started kind of in the way of a reverse sweep, where every game they were just falling further and further behind, but would eventually win it out off some fantastic gameplay. Pretender often being the man finding it.
Yeah, CFO, on the other hand, would be a massive statement to make just winning 3-0 against Frank.
Yeah, no slouches are Frank.
Yeah, our 3rd strongest team, it's probably safe to say. Maybe Beyond can fight them for that spot.
Absolutely, and now early game, I don't expect too much from either side. Obviously, Renekton will be winning top lane, but Ornn will probably not be dying. Kaiwing, maybe some more roams out of him. He had a really good look on the Gragas last game, and he was actually Jimmy enforcing out the flash from Gory that started them off in the right track, but we'll see if Pretender can do the same.
Yeah, Rest putting in a serious tank shift this game, not interested in the usual top lane shenanigans. The river dance, gonna be skipped over by him. And it's gonna be a lot of priority in the top lane for Gemini, but I don't imagine he's gonna really be able to walk into a Zin's jungle in the early levels. Gory focusing on getting priority early in this lane. Meets the wave early and starts autoing it immediately. I like that orange skin.
Yeah, what is it? I was trying to work it out. It must be a chroma, right? I've never seen it before.
Yeah, it is a chroma. I'm not sure which skin. Is there a Space Groove orange skin?
I think.
Yeah, I think there is. I think it's that one. Aggressive trading.
There's the grass one, right? That's one skin.
Yeah,
There's the original blue one. I can't remember.
Yeah, like the lightning
Thunder
themed
God
one. Yeah.
Ornn or something, I think it is. And I think there is also a Space Groove skin. So maybe it is Space Groove. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like it is.
Can't say I've played Ornn, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. Surprisingly difficult.
Yeah, no, there's like so many there's so many champions in League where the difference between someone who can just pick the champ and do okay and just someone who knows the ins and outs of a champ.
Yeah, skill floor versus ceiling.
Yeah, and the skill ceiling on Ornn is actually pretty high because he's got like some one-shot combos as just a full tank.
Oh, speaking of
he's found himself
one-shot.
a great trade there, and Caster in the area means Jung is probably going to go down.
He's just dead.
Yeah.
Won't even get the wave in. Does get the cannon, but
this is a horrible start.
Free kill for Karsa. He does have TP, so he's not going to be denied too much. And yeah, this should be a very hard winning lane for Frank. Yeah, off to a terrible start.
Yeah, Karsa once again, right place, right time on the Xin Zhao, and he finds himself a first blood for it. Pretender suffering a lot more in this mid lane than we saw Jimmy in last game, but honestly, he does get the flash there. Seismic Shove lands onto Gory, forces him under tower, and there's going to be the flash lost. I'm sure we'll get a replay of it, but...
Yeah. Sword Art being so annoying in these games for Kaiwing. Feels like he's constantly baiting the body slam and then jumping out of it. Karsa going on, he's level 3.
This down and Prio in the bot lane for Frank, but Shun's going to be here first. Flash body slam again out of Kaiwing as he does look for something. Through will come the rest of CFO. However, a two-man grand entrance found there, and the Seismic Shove is going to be good out of the side of Frank. Actually, it was a body slam, but Eminem... Oh my... I don't think he meant to do that, but he is going to juke Shun. He should be going down eventually.
Yeah, no way out here. Going to give the kill to Gory.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, that was a 3 for nothing. on the side of Frank. Kaiwing maybe a little over-aggressive onto Karsa this time, who does have his flash up. Is able to respond to the Gragas flash with his flash, and that was such a big win off of mid-priority. Gory having mid-prio here means this fight that looked very scary for Karsa. He's level 3 into a level 4 buy. Gragas here immediately, but Eminem cut off by the enemy bot lane too. Takes a lot longer to get through this fight, and Gory, though he's low, everything's down. Oh man, Gemini gets his Q interrupted there by Sword Art. Lands a 2-man knock-up. And yeah, I think this wasn't meant to go this way. Yeah, and
Looked funny though.
CFO, yeah.
Maybe in a different world he gets out, but
Yeah.
certainly not this one. It is going to be now 4-0 in favor of CFO as they are 5 minutes in with a 2K gold advantage. And
Yeah, atrocious start to the game. For the side of Frank, Kaiwing hanging out along with Sword Art. In the mid lane, Pretender loses about half his HP to a Mantra Q. And I am so confused by the Talia first picks.
yeah, me too.
We really just haven't seen the value of it, and there's a
Nice
shove.
shove, but there's not all that much damage. You have a tier and a mana item.
Oh, there you
but
go.
on the top side, we do get a response finally out of Frank as they are able to take down Rest on the on. It was pretty much a solo kill. Gemini
Yeah.
just skirting on in there to last hit it for himself. But Zhang playing well after some early misjudged aggression, I suppose.
Yeah, Kaiwing is here, but no flash in the mid lane. Pretender lands a nice shove, but eats a Rakan W for his trouble. And Eminem gonna be dying trying to get this wave in.
Yeah, Eminem is a goner. Not level 6. He is trying to turn around some damage onto Shun, but the slow coming through, the knock up here from Carson.
Yeah,
and
can
Shun's
they
gonna be able
freeze
to last hit
this?
it.
Should be no way to freeze this a wave this big though, so he does ultimately get the wave in, but a kill going over to Zeri again this early is terrifying. Should be no hope of contesting the dragon now. And it feels like they just cannot keep up with the pace that CFO are putting onto them. In a game where I feel like Frank should be the team able to set the pace of this early game.
Yeah.
With the Renekton, with the Kaisa Gragas. Even the Vi, not the strongest pre-6, but still should be able to have a lot of impact in the early game.
Dragon number 1. Cloud Dragon picked up for CFO. With the advantage they've garnered themselves, you do feel like objectives should be going their way. 3 Void Grubs were picked up from Frank earlier after that kill onto Rest, so it's not all for naught. And Zhang, I mean, he pretty much solo killed Rest before. He's going to have to find more success like that if they really want to have an honest chance in this game, because the map is going dreadfully.
Yeah, he's going to have to destroy this lane, and at the moment he's down a little bit of XP, it looks like. We'll even up the levels now, but Karsa helping his bot lane. Actually, they were getting shoved in. So he's here to dive.
Yeah,
Risky.
Eminem level 6 and Kaiwing on the Gragas is not going to be an easy champ to dive. I think Eminem now will be able to return to this tower and pick up the CS for himself.
Yeah, no level 6 on Sword Art. It's going to make those plays even harder, already hard enough to get onto the Gragas. Gemini is here with level 6. He doesn't want these kind of fights, though, where he's the one getting engaged on. He wants to find an isolated member of CFO and connect with his ultimate. And that could be Shun if he's not careful.
Yeah.
Though,
Looks like we're going to have a 4v4 over some jungle camps.
Rest will have TP soon.
Kaiwing still not level 6, so neither is Sword Art, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but through comes a Lightning Crash and through comes Karma, and the Empowered Q should be finding the kill there alongside the Ignite. So 1 kill for 0 there. Just layering so much damage onto this Gragas means he is taken out pretty quick.
Yeah, and look at the vision difference. CFO just get to start these fights on their own terms because they have so much control of the vision. 2 pink wards in the enemy bot side jungle. That was set up by Karsa running to bot lane, getting a shove in Gory.
Yeah, another shove lands. Gory's going to be gone under the tower. Still wins out on that trade, though.
Yeah, level up on Pretender now to almost 20 CS. And yeah, they're on top of pinks constantly. Karsa's got his bot lane prio, so everyone from CFO is coordinated and here, and Kaiwing just goes down instantly, as I think on live, Pretender managed to take out Gory.
Yeah.
I'm guessing with the help of a Vial.
Yeah,
it looks
most
like it.
likely. Gory does have flash. Maybe he just felt like he was dead anyway, so didn't commit it. But
Yeah,
still
you often
much
are
needed
with the
gold.
Vial. Definitely, and you know, this is the kind of stuff we need to be seeing out of Gemini if they want to have any hope. Vi is so reliable for locking down a target and taking them out.
Yeah.
It just feels like CFO spends so much time grouping with their jungle and support. Yeah, Pretender is landing nice damage onto Gory here, taking plenty back, but it's Gemini who gets here first. They're capitalizing on the tempo they have. After losing a fight in the jungle, you still will have a tempo advantage for a short time. Gory just probably over-aggressive there, if you look at where Karsa and Sword Art were on the map. Maybe riding the high of last game, where he looked invincible.
Yeah, was not able to be hit by anything. Pretender, though, he's landed a lot more seismic shoves this game. Still hasn't really been enough, as Frank are still finding themselves at a 1.5k gold disadvantage. They've clawed it back a little bit, but still.
Yeah. I mean, the comp is not as disastrous this game, I think, for Frank. It is a comp you would have liked to get early leads on. Pretender takes over half of his HP from one spell from the Karma.
Yeah, that's always a problem. Does have teleport, does have Weaver's Wall, but ultimately I think Frank should just give over these Void Grubs.
Yeah, it kind of sucks with the Renekton. He can get a pretty massive lead if you get him 6 Void Grubs. And
hold up, Rest, he's going to pop the Call of the Forge God. Quickness also used and a knock up onto Jiang. He has the empowered ability. Slice and Dice 1, Flash, Slice and Dice 2. Gory, though, he's here. He lands the ult, and all of a sudden it's a fantastic explosive cast to be able to trade one back.
Yeah.
Kaiwing, right place, right time, is just going to be able to find at the trade.
Yeah, meanwhile, Eminem forced to base by Shun just in the 1v1. Shun is going to pick up some plates for himself or get a shove and recall. Sword Art, though.
Yeah, Gemini jumping over that wall is going to have to flash away, as he's never got the damage to kill Rakan in that instance, and so...
Yeah, and I'm not really sure what he's looking for staying there. They are down numbers, and he does have his ult, but only the Gragas with him to follow up on any potential play. Ends up just losing his flash. Pretender, in the meantime, going to do the Scuttle Crab. And yeah, no disaster in the bot lane. I think Shun did manage to get a plate.
Well, Pretender's down a lot of XP.
Yeah.
Already level 10 for Gory on the Karma and halfway to level 10 for Pretender. So, going to be a relatively weak Talia despite being up the kill.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse. This one item spike for Karma is so massive compared to that same spike for Talia.
Yeah.
Talia catches up later, but that's once you get to 3-4 items that you're feeling better on the Talia than the Karma.
Yeah, and you can see gold is just 500 ahead, really, across the board.
Yeah.
For Gory, so...
Yeah, 500 ahead of his teammates who are ahead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so now you want to ult the Zeri on the Vi, right? But Gory is looking terrifying on the Karma at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to see who you'd want to go for.
Yeah.
Rest and Jiang are walking down that top river to try and get here. Weaver's Wall comes out.
Kaiwing.
Castle's gone forward, but he's gone wide, and Kaiwing is going to land not a whole lot, honestly. Pretender, though, he's trying to find the damage here. It's now him that's been the focus. It was Gemini who goes down first. Pretender's going to go down second, and a disaster team fight as CFO will clean up yet again.
And Kaiwing and Pretender found the most ridiculous engage that fight onto both of the carries of CFO, and no one followed up on it. I don't know what happened in that fight. That should have been a team fight win for Frank. I hope we get the replay for it. That was such a perfect engage from Kaiwing, but Gemini actually ults Karsa on the Xin, who has his ult up already, and they're not able to finish off the kill onto Gory, I think it was. So look at Gory and Shun here. Pretender and Kaiwing play this fight so well to find an engage here.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've got Vi ult at this point, and you're next to Gory, but he actually just ults Karsa. Eminem never gets a chance to ult onto these low HP backline members of CFO, and we said they not only have to find this engage, but they have to play cleanly off of the engage because they don't have all that much damage.
Yeah.
They have the damage to kill a target on this comp and then try snowball the fight from there. And if you're uncoordinated like that on your engage, yeah, you're going to have a low HP Karma and Zeri, but they're still just going to kill your entire team.
For sure. We saw it there. What could have been, but was not. Eminem not able to find his way into that fight to follow up the damage. Sword Art going to be looked at. Does have a second Battle Dance available. We'll use it. Of course, Cease and Desist not quite up here for Gemini, as the Rift Herald now for CFO is going to be started. And the power that this Karma has currently feels insurmountable.
Yeah, I mean, she's so strong and so difficult to kill.
Got himself on a flank, but a two-man grand entrance, and Gemini is just eliminated from this fight. It's going to be the Lightning Crash to confirm yet another one. Eminem as well. That's a triple. That's going to be a quadra. Only Jiang alive, and he is sitting up in that top side. Shun is going to take over this game. It's 15 minutes in, and it is a 5k gold advantage with more to come through the Rift Shield.
Yeah, and this series has turned into just a Shun highlight reel. Feels like every game he gets massive leads, 7-0 and 4 at 15 minutes on Zeri. They have the tools to kill him, but they're just not really finding the right fights on Frank, and hard to see them coming back.
Yeah.
From this kind of deficit.
It is going to take a ridiculous fight from everyone.
Yeah, and it just must feel like CFO are everywhere. They just have reset off the map and they're walking to the Rift Herald, and CFO are already in this bush ready to engage on them the moment they arrive. It's kind of just been a story of pace, especially this game from CFO.
Yeah.
Sword Art and Karsa setting that pace, and I mean, it doesn't hurt that Gory is constantly shoving in mid and getting advantages in terms of HP. They play off of it so well.
Completely agree, and now it is going to be CFO with that Rift Shield available for themselves. There's still 3.5 minutes until Baron is even an option on the map, and 2 minutes until the third Dragon can be picked up for CFO. But in the meantime, I mean, it is going to probably slow down a little bit as, I mean, honestly, Frank have so much gold that they need to catch up on. Look at the 80 carry items. It is just so insurmountable down there.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have to find such a clean kill onto this Zeri. If they do find it, it's a massive shutdown. If you can get it in the hands of Eminem or Pretender, it's probably too late in the game for it to go to Jiang and have any impact.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want it on something like Vi, so it kind of feels like you need this on one of your carries or bust. Now, luckily, both of these carries can kind of find it. You know, Eminem can ult to the target and maybe get the last hit through that, and Pretender as well.
Yeah, it's
one seismic shove. And
it's a matter of how many you're going to lose to do it. This might be their opportunity to do it now. Gemini does have flash.
Yeah, we are looking. Kaiwing pushing up. Through comes everyone. Nice explosive cask, and we found all the damage in the world, but Eminem might be the one going down, and it is. Shun is alive. Look at the shields. Double kill for the Zeri. Jiang now here, but it looks like it's too little too late as a third member of Frank will be going down. Jiang's going to flash away. He's going to dodge out of that tether, but all of a sudden it is the entire house burning to the ground as Frank 4 members go down. Shun lives on the lowest amount of HP possible.
Digit HP for him there. Barely lives. Frank recognizing what they need to do to get back into this game. Going for it, and unfortunately it doesn't quite work out. We were worried about this Zeri with the Karma and the Rakan to support her. And yeah, Kaiwing again finds another nice engage. Ults Zeri into his Vi, who finds a nice ulti, and I don't think anyone really misplayed this. Karsa does block the Kaisa W. So that would have definitely killed off the Zeri, but...
Oh, even the flash.
Yeah.
Rish wanted that.
Yeah, got a couple grasp procs. Always feels good on the tank who has... I mean, this is the kind of game you want to be Ornn.
Yeah, just put it in a shift,
AD.
really.
You just held off the Renekton, got a gank from your jungler early, so Renekton couldn't really run away from with the lane at any point.
All right.
Build your tank items.
At least Frank are trying to do something. So many pings, though, coming down. And CFO, after seeing the blue trinket placed in that bush, are very well aware that this is the side of the map where everyone is on. Only Jiang down the bottom side as recalls will be coming through. Frank have to try and defend their base. It might be plausible right now, but 45 seconds and Baron will be up, and there is no shot Frank could ever contest and have a reasonable chance of winning that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the plan is for Frank now. I guess it's just the same idea. Get onto Shun this time. Hopefully you get the kill, but I mean, they've only... CFO have only gained more items since that point.
Yeah, and Shun is 2 levels up on Pretender.
Yeah, so the enemy ADC is 2 levels up on our mid laner, is the current state of the game. And more impactful than anything, this game surprisingly have felt like the ADC and mid counter picks, which, you know, isn't often you see, you know, the ADC counter pick feeling so valuable, but feels like Shun's gotten a good matchup in every game, and he's just run away with these games. Once he gets 1 or 2 kills, he just seems unstoppable.
Yeah. 10k gold advantage, 20 minutes, and a Baron probably on the horizon. You have to feel like this should be pretty cookie cutter for CFO to get this one across the line. Frank, I mean, what can you do? You do have a lot of single target. Maybe you find the shutdown onto the Zeri and slowly find your way back into the game, but...
Yeah, you just don't have the champs for it to even find a big team fight. A big team fight for them is just killing the Zeri and probably losing 3 people for it.
I also think they just lose late game anyway, so...
Yeah, so you're not really stalling for all that much anyway. Yeah, it's a very... I mean, just a disastrous spot to be in if you're Frank now.
Yeah.
Especially with no next game to really look to. You're already 2 games down.
Yeah. Sort of the rest of CFO truly looking to put into this. Nice knock up once again from Sword Art. He's going to find his mark, and there comes the Mantra Qs as Eminem loses half of his HP just for trying to play League of Legends. Well, I mean, yeah, how do you defend this? You can't. Karma is just unrelenting.
Yeah, just a
poke.
One-man siege from Gory on the Karma. So tanky are Karsa and Rest that they can also just walk up and right-click these towers against, you know, 1-item carries. Eminem picks up his 2nd now.
Yeah, it's still going to be very, very weak, of course.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be hard to get a chance to really stack up that Rage Blade in any of these fights.
I also believe that he hasn't got an upgrade on one of his abilities yet. I'm pretty sure this build you need 1 more item. And then you start building 1 more to get the AD or...
Yeah, a very slow build. Kind of the same as what Jiang was going for with the Roa on Jackson. I think Frank were just not used to or not expecting this kind of pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sword Art knows they can't really engage on him. They don't have enough in the tank to, even if they kill the Rakan there, they might just lose an inhib 5v4 at that point if they're down a Vi ulti.
Yeah. No Vi ult means that Shun can do whatever he wants. And if you're a 9-0-5 as a Zeri and you're allowed to just play how you want, you are probably going to pentakill. Baron started. Should be taken, I imagine.
Yeah,
Frank
Gemini...
aren't going to walk over there, and I mean, maybe getting a steal delays the game, but what are you delaying it for?
Yeah, they know exactly where Gemini is, and they get on
Shun
him.
comes over. They've found their way onto Shun, of course, but there is no follow-up. Eminem's not able to get over to the Zeri. Pull of the Forge God coming through. It lands onto both the carries, and both the carries get knocked up. Lightning crashes as well. Now it's only Jiang and only Kaiwing. That's a support Gragas and a Renekton who is very far behind. He's going to go down. Rest getting the better of that interaction. And it's a clean ace. The CFO are going to be stamping their ticket forward into the 2nd stage of the upper bracket.
Yeah, Karsa doing the most damage in that fight. Starts the fight onto Gemini and chases him down. No chance of a steal at any point. Gemini actually flashes into the pit, but the Baron's got about 5k HP left on it. You're not doing that much as the Vi, and CFO decisively TP to the bot lane, close out the game, and close out a very clean series.
Respawns have come through. Let's see if the side of Frank can do anything. It doesn't look like it. Despite everyone on CFO hitting the Nexus, they are not going to go down. They are going to win the series. It's a clean sweep for CTVC flying on Easter, and honestly, they are looking just as strong as we remember them. This is going to be such a tough team to deal with going forward in the playoffs, and we're going to find out tomorrow what team has to face them, but you are not going to be happy if you have to face this team.
Yeah, and I'd be worried even if I was SoftBank or PSG with how clean CFO are looking right now. Both their carries playing immaculately, a little bit of over-aggression occasionally from Gory in this series. But otherwise, both carries playing immaculately, shouldn't just straight up perfect in that series. Sword Art and Karsa running the map, unstoppable throughout the entire series again. And Rest seems like you can put him on whatever you need him to be on in any given game, whether it's blind or counter, tank or carry matchup. And he's going to do fine into Jiang, who is one of our stronger top laners in the league. That's a scary CFO team.
It is, yeah. Yeah, that is a scary CFO team. I expected Frank to be able to at least pick up one game. And game number 2, it felt like they probably should have. Was it game number 2?
Yeah, game 2. They had a great start to game 2. Kaiwing roaming around.
They should have won that game. A few mistakes, and they were not able to do so. And CFO, we kind of know them as a team that you can get ahead of them early sometimes, but as soon as you make one mistake, they are going to capitalize and they are going to punish you very hard from it. And I think this whole series, we really saw that. Game number 1 as well, it wasn't the worst start in the world for Frank. And unfortunately, just every now and then a little mistake comes through, and CTBC, they take absolutely everything. The triple kill for Rest just off a 3v3 skirmish at the top side, and sort of like one ability going wrong just means, well, it's going to be this Renekton getting a triple kill now, and that is just how good this team is. I do think, obviously, they are not infallible. We saw PSG being able to take them down. We saw Beyond taking them down. And I also think game number 2, I mean, maybe if that was PSG in that position, you probably expect it to just be done there. A little bit more clinical on how you progress the game. Jimmy as well, looking like there were some jitters going up against CFO. Probably the worst performance we've seen out of him thus far.
Yeah, he's had some stinkers. Overall, though, he's had some bad games. He's had some 0-5s and 0-6s. He seems to be quite inconsistent, and it felt like Frank in general, maybe not rising to the occasion under the pressure of playoffs here. CFO is definitely a step up in competition from a team like DCG, who you're maybe used to beating. You know, you're used to beating them up. With CFO, it's been more back and forwards, and they have the more recent win over Frank. CFO do, and it felt like they just misplayed a couple of fights. I think even the first game against a team like PSG, and we'll see with SoftBank, that's a much closer game. Some of those key abilities would be connecting for PSG in those early skirmishes, and they would be trading at least.
Same as game number 1, I think. As well.
Oh, that's what I meant. Game 1.
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant game 1. You know, they found the right fights. You know, not with numbers advantages, but they found the right fights, engages on the right members, and just didn't connect.
Yeah, that's right. And as soon as, like, for example, in that game 1, I mean, we both know what you're referencing, the RE charm going wide.
And the VIQ.
Up on top.
What was it, Rel crash down?
True. And you do feel like if Junji is on the Vi, or if Maple's on the RE, you're probably expecting these abilities to land. They weren't, and that's kind of just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Against a team as good as Flying Oyster, if you do miss these key abilities, you are going to get punished, as I said just before. And that's just the reality. When you're up to the top 6, you cannot afford to make as many mistakes as you could back in the regular season or back in the stage 1 of the playoffs, because you are just against the best competition that not only our region, but the LJL as well as the LCO can possibly provide. Which means, you know, you have to really tidy up the game.
To Frank's credit, pretty much everyone looks that bad when you lose the early game to CFO. Like you said, once they get a lead, they just absolutely strangle you out of a game. And it is because of Karsa and Sword Art playing so well together. Karsa finds this engage. He understands the state of all of his lanes here, and that Talia's never coming to this fight. It is risky for him, and he does lose his flash, but he gets Kaiwing's flash, and his bot lane's here first. His mid lane is here a whole day first. They get 3 kills.
That's so unreal that
he doesn't even go down here. And similar thing happened in the previous game. He is so good on the Xin at just weaving in and out of the fight, tanking up as much damage as he can and sustaining through.
And there we are. I mean,
everyone doing damage.
Oh, I think Gemini's combined damage this game is probably less than this series is probably less than Gory's this game alone.
It's probably less than Karsa's this game alone.
Yeah, I think his Viego was like 8k.
Oh, maybe then. He had a 1k game.
Yeah, the first game. I think it was 2, right? In the first game. He did like 2,000 or something. But yeah, pretty bad day I think,
For
coming out of Gemini.
yeah.
But these things can happen. And again, it's not like they're out of this competition anymore.
Yeah.
They are still going to go down to the bottom of the bracket. I'm not sure who they will go up against, as my screens have disappeared.
Yeah, hopefully we're still
we're
live.
back.
Yeah, okay.
We are so back.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yeah, they're going to go. I don't know if they're up against DCG or Beyond. Obviously, we've already seen them take down DCG. We've seen them over the split take down Beyond. And so you'd want DCG. Beyond looked like the stronger team than DCG, so you'd prefer to have DCG.
But they've handled Beyond.
They have. And,
throughout the regular split as well. So it's a way to get more games in as well. Maybe these nerfs aren't, you know, as bad when you're playing in the losers bracket.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you've got a second life. You've already been stomped by CFO, so maybe just have some more fun and be a bit more relaxed going forward. And
Gemini and Jimmian are also just loser bracket warlords.
Yeah.
Honestly, they started in the loser bracket of summer last year, and again, I've said it so many times, made it to the playoff, the finals, took it to 5 games. On your screen, Shun and Gory and Kasa. I mean, those were the most instrumental members. I want to obviously sort out as well. Some of those Rakan knockups were finding 2 people when it felt almost illegal that they would be able to.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Kasa picking up the MVP. I think overall series MVP is either between Kasa and Shun.
Yeah.
I think they played the most consistent out of the entire team. Not that anyone didn't play consistently.
yeah, pretty much everyone putting on a
But
stellar
Kasa
performance.
took over every early game, and Shun really cemented it in the team fights, playing about as good as you could ever dream of as an AD carry.
Yeah, I think Karsa definitely the biggest gap in this game, and it doesn't hurt how well he does coordinate with Sword Art. Here's a go onto Gemini. I think this was the Baron steal. The game is well and truly completely over at this point.
Yeah.
Gemini flashes into the Baron pit, checks out how low it is. It's not that low, and he can't get away. Karsa actually doing the most damage in this team fight on the Xin. Not something you see all the time. And there does seem to be a big difference between our good Xin players and people who just pick it because it's kind of strong early and you can maybe go for a gank. This seems to be a very strong team fighting champ in Karsa's hands at the very least.
Yeah, there's a few people, right? I think 665's had some good showings.
Yeah.
Husha's had some good showings. I can't even remember Junjia picking the champ. I'm sure he has, I just don't remember it because to me, I'm just, this split especially, I just associate him with Nocturne.
Yeah, he's just on
It's
Nocturne.
Like, yeah, well, he was at the start. He hasn't played it in a while. Volibear, noticeably missing from this series, so maybe something to check out further down the line, maybe tomorrow with PSG. But we're going to go to an interview. It's going to be with Kasa and Paddy. We'll be back right after to check out tomorrow's games.
Let's have Kasa say hello to the fans. 欢迎来到今天的赛后采访。今天来到赛后采访的是 CFO 的打野选手 Karsa， 请 Karsa 先跟大家打声招呼吧。
大家好，我是 CFO 打野 Karsa。
Congratulations for a smooth win against strong team FAK in PCS playoff. How do you feel now after you win?
今日強豪 FAK に対して順調に勝利し、プレーオフでの初勝利を収めた気持ちはいかがですか？
恭喜你们今天非常顺利的成功打败强队 FAK， 赢下季后赛的首胜。想问一下你们赢下来后的心情如何？
心情还是挺开心的吧，因为我们其实在训练赛的时候有遇到一些我们队伍自己的问题嘛。不过比赛的时候就感觉相对的比较順利的就拿下了这个系列赛。
今の気持ちはとても嬉しいと思いますね。あと練習試合のするときはチームにちょっと問題がありますので、今回のこの試合で順調に勝ちましたことを嬉しいと思います。
So I'm really happy about today's win because during our sprints, during our practices, we actually found some of our things that we need to fix on. But today we all made it very well, and we did all the gaming conditions very well. So I'm really happy about today's win. So your opponent today, FAK, is actually in a very good gaming condition right now. But CFO seemed to win easily against them with a 3-0 today. What do you think is the key to today's win?
相手の FAK は最近好調だったか、CFO は今日一切の隙を見せず3対0で勝利しました。最大の鍵は何だと思いますか？
你们的对手 FAK 近况其实非常的好，但今天 CFO 看起来完全没有露出一丝破绽，就顺利的赢下了他们。想问一下，你认为你们赢的关键是什么？
我们赢下的关键应该还是我们选手的英雄池比较深吧，然后我们可以在 BP 方面可以去给 FAK 做很多针对。不过这里感觉到特别，就是感觉到特别称赞一下我们上路 Race 的选手，就感觉他就是不管是坦克还是斗士，今天都玩得很出色。然后也希望我们接下来比赛可以就是他可以表现更好。
勝利になる要因は僕らチームのチャンピオンプールは相手より深いことと思いますね。でも今日は一番いい調子なのは僕らのチームのトッププレイの選手です。とてもいいパフォーマンスを見せました。だから僕らもこのことについてとても嬉しいと思います。
So I think our players have a bigger champion pool than our opponent. That's why we're able to win them today so fast. Also, I want to say that our top laner Rest, he's a really good tank player and also really good on bruiser champions. So I think I really want to talk about him and how good he is on his champion pool selection and his champions today. So this is your first PCS playoff in your pro gaming career. What kind of score will you give yourself?
またこれが個人のキャリアで初めての PCS プレーオフですが、自己評価はいくつですか？
这也是你个人生涯中第一次的 PCS 季后赛，你给自己的表现打几分呢？
其实感觉跟距离上一次比赛其实过了20几天嘛，然后感觉就是三把比赛都是有越来越好吧。然后中间就第二把可能中间遇到了一些波折嘛，但是其实还是顺利拿下比赛。我感觉有3把应该是一个3、6、9分吧。
今回の試合について最初の1試合の時はとてもいいと思います。でも第2試合の時はあんまりいいパフォーマンスをしなかった。第3試合の時は調子が戻る。だからいいパフォーマンスを見せました。僕個人的には1試合、2試合、3試合の点数は30点、60点、90点と思います。
So I think it's been 20 or so days before our last game, and so today's game, I would say the first game was pretty good, but the second game we kind of had some up and downs. So overall, I think maybe I give myself a 3-6-9 score for today's win. So tomorrow you will have a match between PCS's. Tomorrow we will see a match between PCS PSG and LJL SHG. Who do you think will win and why?
明日は PCS から PSG と LJL から SHG が対決しますが、どちらを支持していますか？その理由は？
明天将会是来自 PCS 的 PSG 与 LJL 的 SHG 的对决，你更看好谁？为什么？
我个人的话是有关注那个 LJL 的那个 DFN 跟 SHG 的决赛嘛，但是我个人认为，就是我不太确定谁会赢下明天的系列赛，但是我觉得我个人认为希望是 PSG 获胜吧，因为我实在太想跟 Maple 还有 Betty 交手了。
はい、僕個人的にSHG とDFN との戦いを見ました。でも僕個人的には PSG と戦いたいです。僕は本当にメフォーと昔のチームメンバーたちと一緒に戦いたいです。
So I actually watched the LJL finals between SHG and DFM, but I really want PSG to win because I really want to play against my old teammates Maple and Betty. So it looks like all of you are in really, really good condition. So do you have anything you want to say to your fans?
今チームの状態が非常に良いようですが、ファンに伝えたいことはありますか？
你们看起来现在状态非常的好，你有什么想要对你的粉丝们说的话吗？
就是我们今天能拿下来，其实也没有暴露太多我们的战术嘛，然后我们就也顺利拿下了比赛，然后也希望我们的粉丝能够继续帮我们加油，然后我们会接下来继续努力，展现更多精彩比赛给大家看，然后我们会去 NSI 的。
今日の試合ではあまり僕らチームのこういう弱点を見せることがないので、ちょっといいと思います。このことについてね。あとはこれからもすごく頑張っていく NSI に出演したいと思います。
So we didn't show a lot of our strategy so that we were able to win. So that was a really good news. But so please all support us more and we'll try our best to go to MSI. Thank you so much for the interview and congratulations for the win. 再一次恭喜你们赢得今天的比赛，也感谢 Carson 学生来到今天的赛后采访。我们把镜头转回主播台。
Thank you very much once again for the interview, and I mean you can tell they're trying their best to go to MSI because this was a clinical.
Yeah, and
apparently
they haven't even shown their
strategies.
So getting to save a bit.
Carson's always dripping out with his watch.
Yeah, the kettle.
He's just always got a dripped out watch. Wonder where he got that money from. Any thoughts?
It probably his little stint in the LPL, I imagine.
Probably helped him. He was pretty successful as a player, of course. But
yeah.
Ultimately, today it was CFO who was successful as a team. It was not only Casa, it was the entire team, honestly, from top to bottom. Fantastically played from anyone. I like this little shout out to the guy playing the tank. Okay, putting in an honest shift for us. Back on, buddy. 3-0, of course, to CFO. It was very, very clean. There's not really any critiques you can come up with. Maybe Gory a little over aggressive.
Like twice in the whole series.
In the entire series, and ultimately it didn't matter at all. Now the brackets. So we are going to have Frank versus Beyond. Yeah, you do prefer to be against DCG, but Frank should be the favorites in this matchup.
Yeah.
If they come in with the form they had today, I would be a little worried because I think Beyond, honestly, yes, they lost to PSG, but you expect that to happen. They took a game against PSG, and I think they're looking, at least after the most recent series, looking a bit stronger than Frank are.
And it's pretty safe to assume CFO and PSG are on similar levels.
Yeah.
And Beyond, at the very least, looked capable of winning a game when they got a lead, when they got a good draft.
Yeah.
Frank never really able to get, a draft we could strictly say, yes, this is a good draft. They've
I think game
won the draft.
one was, but...
Yeah, it just fell apart, right?
Yeah. Never really got online. It will be, though, I think this is the most exciting matchup we have the week, and we're saving it for last. We get to finally see the SoftBank Hawks going up against PSG. We saw PSG on, I want to say Friday? No, Thursday, Wednesday, one of the days. We did see PSG. They looked pretty strong. A little bit of rust in game number one, but really turning it around and absolutely demolishing BIG from there. And now finally, we haven't seen them yet. Our final international roster, the SHG, the SoftBank Hawks, are coming to finally show us what they're made of. They're going up against what could be our best team. Definitely top two.
Yeah, certainly.
And they are the best team from the LJL. So they're really going to have to prove to us that they can get it done. And they're going to want to take home this MSI spot, the Spring Championship for their region, for all their fans back at home. And what a task it's going to be. Starting off with not one of the easier teams we have, but honestly, probably the hardest team to actually beat.
Yeah.
They can lose, but they make it damn hard for you to actually get it across the line. That, though, will be a story for tomorrow. For tonight, thank you for joining us. It was a quick one. It was a very exciting one. CFO, they move forward. Frank, lower bracket. But tomorrow, PSG versus SoftBank Hawks. We'll see you there.